that and see the pictorials, what happened, and the plans for the Azimio leadership and the members of parliament to try and get into parliament, and rather office of the president in the Harambee House, and how everything happened along Ngong Road. We'll be getting into those pictorials a little bit later on. On the top page of the Daily Nation, Sabina overthrows Uhuru. On page 8, the battle for the control of Jubilee Party escalated yesterday after a faction allied to President William Ruto kicked out former President Uhuru Kenyatta as party leader and replaced him with nominated Member of Parliament Sabina Chege, while threatening to expel him altogether. But his camp dismissed the ouster as null and void. We'll be diving into that as well and see what is the fate of former President Uhuru Kenyatta and now embattled party leader. Matters devolution here. Governors withdrew shut down threat as counties. There you have it. Counties get 31 billion Kenyan shillings. Treasury averted a shutdown of county governments by releasing 31 billion shillings that is owed to the devolved units for February. For the month of February, it is on the back page of the Daily Nation. Matters Health Ministry mulls new COVID booster jobs. So the Minister of Health may soon procure new COVID-19 vaccine boosters after a new study found that the SARS-CoV-2 virus evolution outpaces vaccine-generated antibodies. And still on matters devolution, matters education, teachers accuse the TSC of forcing them into unwanted union. Teachers in special schools have petitioned members of parliament to intervene in a fresh dispute over the agency fee deductions to the Kenya Union of Special Needs Education. And in matters what is happening in Kilifi and also in Mombasa, Mackenzie cult forced members to starve to death, police tell court. And you have the photo of Pastor Ezekiel Odero and Pastor Paul Mackenzie. Let's get into the meat of the Daily Nation. On page 4, Council of Governors forms committee to help resolve stalemate between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, a 10-member ad hoc committee. Is this particular committee effective? Governors obviously have their own political allegiance. Will it play in their role to help, the bipartisan talks and, actually ensure that everything runs smoothly in the bipartisan talks? But how effective will it be? Pertinent questions I'll be asking the guests this morning. 2 vehicles were banned while Azimio leaders' attempt to present petition was thwarted by police. So Azimio says state was behind the violence during this particular protest. There's a particular number here. Let's take a look at this number. The number of members in the Council of Governors Committee to mediate between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, as I have informed you. There's a quote here, pardon me. Our protest will resume on Thursday, May 4th, which is tomorrow. Same meeting, same time, same officers, same petitions, same people. Quote by NAC leader Martha Karua. Driver escapes and hurt as goons attack ban lorry on southern bypass. Quite unfortunate matters looting of property and, as we have seen before, loss of lives in the mass actions. Subdued protests in Ryla's backyard, that is around in protests in Vihiga were peaceful, while none were reported in Kisii County. But then we did see a few in Kisumu County. You can dive into this particular page. Violence youths engaged police in running battles in Kisumu's Kondele area after they blocked the highway. There you have it there. And moving on, matters the pictorials that I promised you. Return to street battles. In Nairobi yesterday, Azimio leaders kept the government guessing only to emerge after 4 p.m. okay, this is extensive to the next page, to announce more protests tomorrow. Opposition heads back to the streets as peace talks stall. So we did see barricaded roads, bonfires, traffic disruptions and injuries were reported as anti-government demonstrations rocked most parts of Azimio leader Raila Odinga's Nyanza backyard. One of the protesters arrested there, other, protesters there, and the anti-riot police, holding one particular protest. You can see here, the anti-riot police standing by as one of the demonstrators probably, clouded in the tear gas. There raises a hand. This just shows you how much security was beefed up as locals go about the normal businesses in Eldoret Town, Wasingishu County. I have a pictorial there by Azimio leader Raila Odinga, NAC leader Martha Karua, Wiper Party leader Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. To the next page. Police officers engaged with locals at Mathare stage 10 in Nairobi. And you do have a police officer attempting to put off a fire on the southern bypass in Nairobi. This is just what was happening yesterday. We might be seeing some of these pictorials in tomorrow's, on Fridays now, after Thursday's demonstration. So we might be seeing some of these pictorials on Friday's dailies. Beefed up matters security. Ruto calls for talks in troubled Sudan. Speaking of matters, protests and everything reflects now internationally across the borders what is happening in Sudan. He said that there was no reason for violence, yet Abdel Fattah Burhan, who is the leader of the Sudan army, and Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, popularly known as Hemeti, can settle the differences through dialogue. Hemeti is the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, and hopefully everything will get back to normal in Sudan. Hundreds killed as fighting rages on between factions of armed forces. Pundits here say that as Kenya, we should really learn a lot of what is happening in Sudan and eventually other parts of Africa, so that we don't really have the same happening in the country. Speaking of back home here, matters politics and matters party politics, Uhuru dropped as Jubilee Party boss. So the faction led by Kanini Kega, who is the Secretary General, as it now, instigated coup against ex-president. You can dive into that. Rome rather has laughed off changes as inconsequential. There was a meeting yesterday, a whole long meeting by the Kanini Kega-led faction, and they were quoting that, according to the constitution, the Presidential Retirements Benefit Act, that a retired president shouldn't be holding an office in any party after 6 months. So basically, his term had ended. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta's term in Jubilee Party had ended around March there. We'll be diving into that. Will the exit of former President Uhuru Kenyatta still define Jubilee Party, which was once a ruling party? All right, anything else here? Yeah, on matters, I think this is page 12. Victims of Mackenzie cult were murdered, says state. There's also a quote there by Dr. Johansen. Odor strangled and smothered to death. Children bore the brunt. Let's take a look at these numbers here before I dive into the standard for you. At a glance, 17, this is the number of suspects who are under investigation over the deaths of hundreds of people at a cult run by Mr. Paul Mackenzie. 103, the number of bodies that authorities have recovered from mass graves in Shakahola Forest so far. Remember, we'll be giving you the latest of what is happening in Shakahola at the moment, even as the autopsy examinations continue. Let's take a look at what is happening in the standard. Raila calls for more demos as talks stall. Let me just zoom out for you so they can have that. No way forward. Opposition leaders say they will be, pardon me for that, they'll be back on the streets tomorrow, accusing the government of withdrawing the security and lying on cost of maize flour. The announcements came as governors sought to break the Raila-Ruto impasse. A story, you can take a look at it from page 6 and 7. You do have the a photo of Azimio leadership marching their way to Harambee House. There's, you can take a look at that particular clip. You know, the Azimio leaders and the legislators basically saying that they are peaceful and that they are marching there to the Harambee House and that there is no need to have this particular protest. Let me just have that right. Let's move on to, hopefully I'll have this particular page right. Jubilee Wars, Uhuru kicked out of party by Kanini Kega team. We were basically taking you through earlier. Faction accuses Uhuru of contempt of PPDT ruling delivered on April 19th. Kega said the matter has been referred for dispute resolution. So you can take a look at that. So the purported National Executive Council meeting held on April 28th was irregular for the reason that it did not give the requisite 7 days period. And in addition, it was not issued by the Secretary General as required by the party constitution. There's a quote by Kanini Kega, acting Secretary General. Let's dive into the People Daily. And let's go to the front page of the Daily, or rather the People Daily. There you have it. Mackenzie in the dock of a death in cult. That is on page 2 and 3. Controversial Pastor Paul Mackenzie on the right, and the right with his wife Rhoda Mumbuo at Shanzu Lokuts in Mombasa yesterday. He had been freed but was rearrested to face more serious charges. Raila demo stopped, so Azimio leaders vote to be back in the streets tomorrow. Governor set up team to mediate between rival parties. Bipartisan talks to hit wall as teams fail to agree on once again. Reports on page 4, 5, and 6. We also have the pictorial of what happened yesterday. You know, looting of property and arrests. And about, I think, at least 46 people were arrested as of yesterday. An interesting bit, and I'll also be taking a look at later on. Press freedom, time to take stock of gains and setbacks from page 10, 12, and 21. What is happening in the People Daily? Apart from matters that we have focused on, do you have rights lobby calls for peaceful and for political crisis. So this is KNCHR, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. So as it stands, KNCHR Chairperson Roslyn Odede said the Constitution recognizes the importance of peaceful and orderly protests as a means of expressing grievances and seeking redress. National Police Service NPS officers to respect and uphold the rights and freedoms of demonstrators. Commission also urged Kenyans to respect the right to own and acquire property and the rights of everyone involved. And quite an interesting bit here now that I'll also be querying the guests later on. MPs moved to halt retirement benefits for Uhuru, Kalonzo, and Raila. And to just get into the numbers here for you, since the Act came into office, this is the Retirement Benefit, which includes the Deputy President and Designated State Officers Act in 2015, came into force. Since this particular Act came into force, there are three entitled, they're entitled to 3 drivers, paid 70,000 Kenyan shillings each, 1 personal assistant entitled to 200,000 monthly, 1 accountant, 10,000 Kenyan shillings each, 2 secretaries. The numbers keep flowing. We'll be diving into that later on. Right, real quick before we actually conclude matters, the newspaper review. Finally, in devaluation relief in counties, 31 billion Kenyan shillings has been released. Governors have threatened to shut down operations in Treasury, failed to release the February allocations. So we do have that particular report. Finally, is a whole reprieve, but then it will be a litmus test for the governors. As much as they really wanted to have this money dispersed to them, how will they utilize it carefully? Right, now to what is happening in the country. So more details continue to emerge in the Shakahola cult massacre, with post-mortem reports showing that apart from suffocation, some of the victims died after strangulation. The body of an 11-year-old girl was identified to have marks on the neck and the indication that she may have strangled, or that she may have been strangled to death. According to pathologists, and as Andrin Kilemi now reports, 6 bodies out of the 30 that were examined Tuesday did not show the exact cause of death, as they were badly decomposed.
Day 2 of the post-mortem examinations on the Shakahola bodies, results reveal more details, painting a nerve-wracking picture of the horror visited upon victims before death. Some of the victims, according to Tuesday's post-mortem exercise, died after strangulation, with the body of an 11-year-old girl showing marks on her neck, a sign that she was strangled to death, according to pathologists.
One of them, which was a child, we found that they had trauma to the head. There was some head trauma, which you saw on that child. And then 3 of them had asphyxia, meaning that they had been denied oxygen. And of these 3, one of them we could clearly see marks on the neck of someone who had been strangled, with the breaking of some muscle, some bones in the neck. So we are very certain that this person, who was a child also, was actually strangulated.
The exercise saw 30 bodies examined, with a pathologist report indicating that 8 out of the 30 were male and 22 were female. This brings to 40 the total number of postmortems done since the exercise began. Government Chief Pathologist Johansen Odur, while giving the daily briefing at the Malindi Sub-County Hospital mortuary, said most of the bodies were badly decomposed, with an exception of a few which were moderately decomposed.
There are 6 persons who were lying between adults and female. We are not able to say by certainty whether they were adults or female because of the level of decomposition and skeletonization.
Human rights organizations have raised concerns for being denied access in the process, with the chief pathologist, however, saying that it is not necessary for them to be involved, as they could be traumatized. The exercise is expected to enter Day 3 Wednesday. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
And police will hold embattled Good News International pastor Paul Mackenzie and the 18 co-accused for 3 more days. The Shanzu Senior Principal Magistrate Joe Omido has directed that the matter in which the Director of Public Prosecution wants to continue holding the suspects for 90 more days be handled by his Shanzu colleague, SPM Yusuf Shikanda. Early yesterday, controversial pastor and 6 accomplices were released and later on arrested after Principal Magistrate Ivy Wasike said the Malindi Magistrate Court does not have the power to handle the case due to the limitations in the court's jurisdiction.
Drama ensued at Malindi Magistrate Court after controversial Pastor Paul Nthenge Mackenzie and 6 other suspects were discharged shortly before being taken back to custody. This is after Principal Magistrate Ivy Wasike was handling the miscellaneous application that allowed Mackenzie and 6 others to be held in police custody for 14 days, ordered for Mackenzie's release and the closure of the case.
This miscellaneous file is therefore closed. And in regard to these miscellaneous files, the suspects are at liberty unless they are again otherwise lawfully held.
According to the principal magistrate, the charges against the suspects, which include radicalization, terrorism, murder, and money laundering, cannot be handled at the magistrate court, directing the prosecutors to a specialized court in Shanzu.
Any application for bail can be made before the specialized court once they are arraigned, or counsel can move the High Court appropriately for anticipatory bail.
This coming just hours after the investigators visited Mackenzie's church on Monday night, after angry residents stormed the property and vandalized the church's perimeter wall and gate.
To enable us to make the relevant application.
The release and subsequent rearrest has rubbed his lawyers the wrong way, saying it could be a ploy to detain their client on frivolous charges. Mackenzie and his co-accused would later be arraigned in Shanzu Law Courts, where they'll be detained for 3 days, after which the court will rule on a petition by the DPP to hold Mackenzie and company for 90 days to complete investigations.
Considering that I'm currently handling another file, miscellaneous application number E075 of 2023, the one for the pastor, which relates somewhat to the instant matter, I will order and direct that the instant application proceeds before my brother, Honorable Yusuf Shikanda, but not today and not tomorrow, because I know he has a very long list tomorrow, the day after tomorrow.
The court's decision has elicited mixed reactions among different stakeholders, with human rights activists celebrating the decision, which they say will allow the prosecution to increase charges against the suspect in light of recent developments on the case.
Tunafurahi ya kwamba charges zitazidi na vile tunavyoendelea mili inaendelea kupatikana, so the number of counts za case ambayo imemkabili itakuwa zaidi.
Experts, however, say the decision is a result of the limitations surrounding the magistrate courts, saying the country should anticipate more investigations going forward.
If he was charged in a high court has what we call original and universal jurisdiction, so it can try any offense. Magistrates court have certain limitations of what they can try. So what I believe happened to Mr. Mackenzie is that he was discharged under, I think, Section 87 of the Criminal Procedure Code, but then rearrested so that then he can face charges in a proper court.
Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Meanwhile, Pastor Ezekiel Odero is to remain under police custody at the Port Police Station in Mombasa until Thursday, when further orders will be issued. The preacher's legal team wanted to arrest the ruling of an application seeking to detain him for an additional 30 days, citing that the application takes away the right to liberty.
Congregants from the New Life Prayer Center of the controversial televangelist Ezekiel Odero trooped outside the Shanzu Law Courts, where his case would be mentioned after 5 days in remand. The court was expected to rule on an application filed by prosecutors seeking to detain the preacher for additional 30 days to allow room for more investigations amid fears that he could interfere with witnesses.
Niko na mtoto anaitwa Pastor Ezekiel. Niko na mke wake ambaye ni Pastor Sara, ako na miaka 10. Nimewazaa kwa sababu niliwapenda, maana ni watumishi wangu na walinisaidia na maombi kwa ajili ya kukataliwa kwa ndoa. Familia ilikuwa imenikataa, ndugu walikuwa wamenikataa. Naomba baba yetu akiroho achiliwe. Ninaomba tu baba yetu akiroho achiliwe.
His legal team now says that the application would curtail the preacher's right as an accused person, adding that a business transaction between Paul Mackenzie and Ezekiel Odero cannot guarantee crimes currently being witnessed in the Shakahola massacre. The Shanzu senior magistrate Joe Omido, however, directed that the case be heard on Thursday, where more orders will be issued by the court.
The respondent shall be detained at Port Police Station, Mombasa, for a period of 7 days, which period shall run from the 27th of April 2023, being the date that he was arrested and placed in police custody, and for avoidance of doubt, the detention period ordered herein shall lapse on the 4th of May 2023 at 0900 hours. I hope that is clear. B, that this matter shall be mentioned on the 4th of May at 9 in the morning for the state to appraise the court on the status of the investigations and for further orders.
He will therefore remain in custody for an additional day at the Port Police Station. Paul Moniu, TV47, Mombasa.
And still on the corridors of justice, the Kiambu court has jailed a police officer for 30 years after he was found guilty of killing a man by shooting him. And as a reporter Ronnie Reagan reports, the move has been welcomed by the family of the deceased.
The incident happened in the year 2017 at an entertainment area in Limuru Town, Kiambu County. According to the lawyer representing the family of the late Mwangi, the police officer forced him to buy him a drink, and when he failed,
this officer created disturbance which caused to the officer shooting William to death.
The court decision was made by Judge Mary Kasango in the Kiambu court.
Court has found the officer guilty of murder of William, and he has accordingly been convicted to 30 years imprisonment. In considering the seriousness of the offense and the victim impact statement, the court has stated that the police officer was supposed to be protecting William, but instead he used the weapon that had been provided by the government not to protect but to kill an innocent man. So we feel that justice has been served.
The decision was welcomed by the relatives of the deceased, including his wife Agnes Mwangi.
Nitarudi tena kwa wakili ili tuweze kuangalia mambo ya compensation juu mimi nilikuanga housewife na William ni yeye alikuwa breadwinner. So ningeomba ni koti compensate family kama mimi juu nilikuwa housewife na nilikuwa na mtoto na anafaa kusoma na maisha mazuri.
According to the lawyer, he wants the Chief Justice Martha Koome to intervene to see that the murder cases are expedited and the affected get justice.
In considering the seriousness of the offense and the victim impact statement, the court has stated that the police officer was supposed to be protecting William, but instead he used the weapon that had been provided by the government not to protect but to kill an innocent man. So we feel that justice has been served, although we also consider that there is nothing that can return our client to life. And we feel that this is a consolation to the family, although it cannot return their loved one.
For a long time now in Kenya, murder cases have taken a long time to be decided, a situation that has left many families with independent grief, while the suspects are given a punishment that doesn't comply with the offenses they have committed. Ronnie Reagan, TV 47.
Now, as the pastoralist communities continue to grapple with the high rates of unmet needs of family planning, a group of community health promoters have resorted to using camels as their only means of transport to reach remote villages and offer emergency medical services and sensitization on reproductive health. Our reporter Elizabeth Atieno now walks with us through the long and epic journey the community health promoters are forced to endure to serve the affected locals.
It is mid-morning in the county of Isiolo. Step by step, the camels here are heavily loaded with medical equipment, including medicines. And some community health volunteers are in a hurry, ready to tend to a pregnant woman. They first inject her with a sedative and later take her test for high blood pressure. The situation is similar in many homesteads in this remote village, a clear indication that locals here are yet to embrace the idea of family planning. But why, you may ask? Madina Dima is a resident here and now explores.
As a community ya Waislamu, mbeleni sisi hatupangangi uzazi. Tukitaka kuzaa, wanaume ndo wanatupangia venye dadangu kutoka Samburu wamesema. Sisi kazi yetu ni kuzaa moja kwa mgongo, mwingine kwa tumbo, mwingine mkono, mwingine pande, na tunavurutana tukienda kuchunga ng'ombe ama kutafuta maji. Hao watoto wanakufa na njaa, maji hakuna, chakula hakuna. Mzee anahangaika kutafuta chakula itoshi.
Lake Victoria, Nyanza region, we spot some community health promoters using boats as their only means of transport to reach some residents living at the shore of the lake. Many women and girls here trade sex for fish so as to fend for their hungry children. This has made them prone to sexually transmitted diseases.
And another thing, it has made us to work with these beach people who are fishing along the lake. Sometimes I can hear somebody sending a person to come and call me to go and talk with those people due to family planning.
According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics 2022 Demographic and Health Survey, the counties of Marsabit, Tana River, West Pokot, Samburu, Siaya and Isiolo have the highest unmet needs for family planning. According to the community health promoters, the journey is not a walk in the park since some indigenous pastoralist communities in northern Kenya are opposed to modern family planning methods.
Ile challenge ingine tunapata mandawa kwetu hiyo ya family planning. Saa zingine inakuja inaisha. Watu wetu kuna watu wanakaa mbali sana na kutravel kukuja kwa hospitali wanatumia pesa mingi.
The situation is made worse by some men who have since resorted to violence to stop their wives from embracing different family planning methods.
Upande ya SGBV huko Isiolo kuna nyingi sana. Sana sana wamama wanatandikwa. Ukitandikwa uendi ukasema sababu unaogopa, ni aibu. Wanako akikupiga uende hata jirani aweze akajua sababu ni aibu, unanyamazia tu. Hata ukivunjwa nini unanyamazia hapo. Lakini saa hii tumejua tutaenda kuwafundisha, na upande chatu tunaomba tena watufundishe vizuri, sisi naye tukue expert na tuende tuwasaidie.
We have been able to equip them with policy and skills about what SGBV is, risk factors, how they as community leaders can play a role in making sure that SGBV cases don't go underreported.
The community health promoters through Community Health Trust Africa Chat are now benefiting from free training on reproductive health. Over 60,000 women have been trained on contraceptive method of their choice, with a whopping 40,000 indigenous women prioritizing the usage of 3 to 5 years planning methods. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Thank you for that, Elizabeth. Now to matters politics, with Kenya Kwanza's claims that former President and Azimio Council Chairman Uhuru Kenyatta is funding the opposition's anti-government protests, a section of Kenya Kwanza leaders have filed a notice of motion to compel Kenyatta to resign as Jubilee Party leader and the subsequent Azimio coalition as party chairman, failure to which they will suspend his retirement benefits. According to the Presidential Retirement Benefits Act, Uhuru's monthly salary is 1.44 million shillings, which may be strapped off if the lawmakers agree, which with Gatundu South legislator Gabriel Kangombe. Mike Kagongo reports.
Kenya Kwanza leaders led by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah have since accused retired President Uhuru Kenyatta of funding anti-government protest by Azimio and its supporters, calling on him to come out clean on the matter. Kenyatta supported Odinga's 2022 campaigns and was initially reluctant to acknowledge Ruto's election victory. And now, Gatundu South legislator Gabriel Kangombe has sponsored a motion seeking to terminate the retirement benefits of Kenyatta, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for engaging in political activities.
And we are now demanding that he also resigns from the Azimio as the Azimio chair, so that now he may continue enjoying the benefits of retirement. Failure to which, by the time we get to Parliament, by the time this motion is tabled, we will demand all the monies amounting to 78 million.
Kangombe argues that the President's Retirement Benefit Act stipulates that the monies may be withheld or suspended in the event the designated officials violate the principles of the Act.
Do not be active in any political party, do not hold a position in any political party, do not seek election, any political election.
And this may have to extend to members of parliament who are also participating in maandamano. They have to choose whether they want to earn as parliamentarians or they earn on the street.
According to the Presidential Retirement Benefits Act, Uhuru is entitled to a lump sum payment of 34.5 million shillings gratuity, calculated as a sum equal to 1 year's salary for each term served as president. His monthly salary is 1.44 million shillings. Kenyatta is entitled to a monthly pension equal to 80% of the monthly salary, which means he earns 1.15 million shillings. The president will be entitled to an entertainment allowance equal to 15% of his monthly salary. This will be 200,000 shillings per month. A housing allowance equal to 23% of his monthly salary, which will be 300,000 shillings per month. The President Retirement Benefit Act 2015, however, provides that the benefits may not be paid in the event of being guilty of gross misconduct or actively engaging in the activities of a political party. The Gatondo South legislator is pushing for the National Assembly to compel National Treasury to halt the disbursement of the funds and for the total monies released thus far to be recouped. The lawmaker now wants the government through the National Treasury to recover 78 million shillings paid to Kenyatta, 388 million shillings paid to Odinga since he retired as Prime Minister after the exit of the Grand Coalition government, and 375 million shillings paid to Kalonzo Musyoka as the 10th Vice President. In 2015, the then President Uhuru Kenyatta declined to sign a bill that would have seen Odinga and former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka enjoy their pension. Kenyatta demanded that the two quit politics before enjoying the package because it was not a requirement in any law. The sponsored notice of motion comes hours after former President Uhuru Kenyatta was ousted as Jubilee Party leader in escalating wrangles in the former ruling party. The Kanini Kega-led faction of the party said former Murang'a woman representative Sabina Chege is the new party leader on an acting capacity, following a National Executive Council NEC held on Tuesday. Mike Kagwongo TV 47, Nairobi.
Now, for the fourth time in the new series of Azimio mass action within the Central Business District, police officers were strategically placed. Raila and team had announced in the Tuesday's itinerary that they were scheduled to stop at IBC's President, Treasury and Public Service Commission to deliver a petition. This is not taking place. Business in the country's areas was not affected as earlier witnessed in previous protests, with peace and orderliness being the order of the day. Mwenge William kept tabs with the situation with Nairobi and filed the following report.
After a brief lull, the Azimio Brigade was back at it again with the anti-Kenya Kwanza government. This morning, a section of Azimio lawmakers were tear-gassed at the office of the president in Nairobi. The lawmakers say they were caught in the fracas while on their way to deliver a petition on the issues they want the government to address. A heavy presence of police strategically placed in all entries to the Nairobi Central Business. A majority of Kenyans went on with their daily activities with no interruptions witnessed in a day Azimio la Umoja was leading its fourth anti-Kenya Kwanza protest. Majority of business premises remained open with police maintaining a hawk eye for any eventuality.
Unajua, based on the last maandamano niliona kulikuwa kubaya sana. So venye nilikuja niliona itakuwa manageable.
But even with the heavy police presence in and within major cities, 2 arson incidents were reported along Gong Road with a public service vehicle and a trailer reduced to ashes by unknown people. And a few minutes after noon, Odinga and his convoy emerged first in Kangemi along Wayaki Way and later on Kiambu Road. It would later divert to Sarit Center after it spotted police vehicles near the Westlands roundabout and found itself in Gigiri. The Azimio team later marched back to the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Foundation Center, where they revealed plans to bring back Thursday's protests.
Our protests will resume on Thursday, the 4th of May. Same meeting, same offices, same petition, same people.
The Azimio procession had planned to deliver petitions to the office of the President, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the National Treasury, and the Public Service Commission.
We know why we could not be allowed to present a petition to OP on cost of food. There has been an attempt by the illegitimate Kenya Kwanza regime to mislead the people of Kenya that the cost of unga has come down. The truth is that it has not, and we wanted to prove it.
Obey the Azimio faction not managing to access the CBD. Vendors along major streets lamented over the continued calls for protest by the opposition, noting that business was negatively affected.
Hakuna kutulilia na tulilia. Sa ile sisi tunakuwa affected na hii demonstration hatuuzi. Hiyo hatufurahi. Tuko na watoto, tuko na watu wenye wanatutegemea. Kwa leo tutaenda kuwaambia nini?
Siku za kawaida si upata tunauza, unapata watu ni wateja ni wengi, lakini siku ya leo kumenyamaza tu, hakuna watu. Shughuli za tao zimetulia tu, hakuna maneno mengi.
The Azimio team has vowed to lead another set of protests on Thursday in an attempt to deliver petitions to the respective institutions they had planned to. This comes as Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki revealed that a total of 46 people are in police custody for disturbing the peace in Nairobi and the Nyanza region during the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya's anti-government protest that led to the burning of 2 vehicles and the theft of 12 gas cylinders. In a statement, Kindiki says 14 of these people were arrested in Nairobi, while the other 32 were nabbed in different parts of Nyanza. The suspects are set to be arraigned in court Wednesday. Mwigi William, TV 47.
And on to matters devolution, the Council of Governors has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the National Treasury to release the March salaries owed to the counties amounting to 29.6 billion shillings. They also want the disbursement of May and June be issued within the first 2 weeks of June in order to enable counties run their development agenda. Equitable share revenue stalemate has rocked counties as the governors requested for 425 billion shillings. However, only 385 billion shillings has been released so far.
Currently, the outstanding monies owed is Kenya shillings 29.6 billion, owed to 47 counties for March 2023 allocation. We have agreed with the National Treasury that they will be prompt in ensuring timely disbursements to counties. Additionally, it has been resolved and agreed with the National Treasury that the March allocation will be disbursed by 15th of May 2023 and the April allocation will be disbursed by end of May. The disbursements for May and June will be issued in the first 2 weeks of June to allow counties to absorb these resources within the financial year.
I wouldn't think there'll be governors who will be shouting for money or being unable to pay salaries when they have money in their accounts. But also you would appreciate that there is a time lag between when Treasury releases monies and when governors or counties access, because it has to go through a process, and that is very much in the hands of the Office of the Controller of Budget. So we're also engaging the Office of the Controller of Budget to see how to reduce that time lag between when monies hit our county revenue funds account and when they are available for use to actually pay for the operations and the development in the counties.
Now, meanwhile, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has told Azimio leader Raila Odinga and his brigade to keep off mass protests and stop distracting Kenyans with misguided street protests. Gachagua, who was speaking in Narok South, said the government had offered an opportunity for bipartisan talks in Parliament, a decision that has not been well received.
Juzi wametuambia hawataki maandamano, wanataka maongeo. Tumesema haya, enda pale bunge, Kimani Ichung'wa wako pale, Kinatongoyo, muongee. Mimi na rais tuko busy kwa kazi ya maendeleo. Ama mnataka tukue na nafasi ya kuongea na hii watu? Sasa asema nyinyi mko na wabunge wenu, tuko na wetu, msugumuze. Ile mtakubaliana mtuarifu. Mzee amesema hapana, wacha arudi kwa barabara. Amerudi. Jana amesema, hii maandamano ni amani. Hakuna kuharibu chochote. Sisi tuko watu watulivu. Sasa leo wamefika pale Ngong Road, wameanza kuchoma mabasi.
And still on the same, bipartisan talks between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja committees have hit a dead end. This is after continued bickering over membership of a joint bipartisan committee and the resumption of demonstrations called by Azimio Coalition. The 14-member committee was to hold a meeting today, but it failed to take off after Azimio team failed to turn up, demanding the withdrawal of Eldas MP Aden Kainan. A parliamentary reporter Elizabeth Mutuku with more.
In press conferences at Parliament buildings,
The Raka MP George Murugara called out Azimio Brigade for holding protest amid bipartisan talks. Murugara, who leads the team, lamented that the Azimio bipartisan team has remained non-committal to allow a chance for dialogue, insisting that the talks cannot go hand in hand with protest, urging Azimio leader Raila Odinga and the Azimio team to abandon the demonstrations and resume talks.
And they insist on a structured dialogue. In the other hand, they are for violent protests in the streets in the name of demonstrations, picketing, etc. We regret we cannot accede to this at all. Number 5, there cannot be dialogue simultaneous with street protests. The two cannot go together hand by hand. Either we talk or they demonstrate. Kenya Kwanza is committed to peace. Dialogue or talks are a means towards peace. This is why we wholeheartedly commit to these talks.
However, I would like to appeal to him for the sake of posterity, for the sake of stability of this country, for the sake of peace and the need for us to get our country out of the current economic doldrums, he should allow his committee to talk with us. He should stop directing them. We are not going to fight. It will be meeting of minds, and where they think that we have overwhelmed them, they'll fall back to him later, just like we would fall back to our principal if we felt overwhelmed.
However, in a quick rejoinder, the Azimio team insisted that Eldas Member of Parliament Aden Keynan must be withdrawn from the committee for talks to resume, with the committee co-chair Otiende Amolo calling out Kenya Kwanza counterparts for being insincere for the coalition having included Keynan in the team.
Suspended the talks because the inclusion of the Honorable Keynan goes to the principles of the very things we are supposed to discuss. For us as a team, as long as they confirm to us that the Honorable Keynan has been withdrawn, we will resume the talks immediately. The question of demonstration is a different question. It's not on the table for us. That is a matter that is to be discussed at the level of the principles and the Constitution and other things.
The Azimio Brigade, however, dismissed the demand that the demonstrations must be called off for the talks to resume. As back and forth continues in both political divides, especially on their demands on who should sit in the bipartisan committee, the buck stops with President William Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga to unlock the stalemate. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Palm Springs, Nairobi.
Wakati mwingine kama weekend, mimi najiachilia.
Hata ukumbuki hii story.
Nikifika watu wangu watu wakinipokea na kupokeleka.
Umeset the mood.
Nimeset the mood, naweza kupokeleka. Nikitumai kwamba mzima popote pale ulipo, nikikukaribisha katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutuku, na katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea siku nyingine. Tutapatana papa hapa umjue kiongozi mwingine.
Jiunge nasi toka hapa hadi ufuoni mwa bahari. Meli yetu itakapotua nanga kwa uhondo ribo ya riwaya hii Mwisho wa Kosa. Monica.
It's early morning in Maralal. Start your morning informed, educated, entertained, and above all, know your country. From the beautiful plains of Samburu County to the skyscrapers of Nairobi, Morning Cafe certainly got you covered. Indeed, a beautiful place to watch and certainly a moment of understanding and knowing your country. Indeed, to the remotest parts of every county. Join me, Linda Alela, every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
The diversity of Kenya's wildlife has garnered international fame.
This is pellets that we give to the tourists, the giraffes. We ration because we don't want the giraffes to eat too much of this. We want them to have more of the natural browse.
We may not always get the opportunity to go out to see the wildlife, but you'll never miss the opportunity to see it from the comfort of your couch.
This is home to animals that have been found out there either injured, abandoned, or confiscated from people who are holding them illegally.
Only on TV 47 Wildlife, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m.
Disability is a club that anyone can join.
I live with special needs. It means I have a limitation. There are things I can't be able to do personally myself.
And in our journey to talk about disability, we tell the stories of those with disabilities and even sit with specialists to understand what it means for those affected directly and indirectly.
Everybody's life, mine has also been faced with ups and downs.
If it becomes a self-stigmatized thing where you feel like you are judging yourself too harsh, you blame yourself, and you perceive that it happened because you failed.
Join me, Zainab Mohammed, on Beyond the Limit every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
An entrepreneur is defined as someone who has the ability and desire to establish, administer, and succeed in a startup venture along with the risks entitled to it to make profits.
I'm a professional financier with a professional paper in banking. However, for fashion, it's something I've always loved ever since I was small.
Started as a baby business. It was all about, you have your machines, the haircuts, where the heads, bring the scalps.
We wanted something that would remind us about prayer every now and then. So the moment you mention Talit, we always think about prayer because Talit Cakes is founded on prayer.
Get to learn more about these entrepreneurs and what makes them stand out in their field every Monday at 6:30 p.m. only on The Grind.
The Realtor, this is where we travel, move far and wide just to make sure that we bring you what it all entails when it comes to matters real estate.
Buying off plan is the best thing that you can do because it gets to be a journey that is even affordable and flexible.
Visit there, go down, go see what kind of production they do, what varieties do they have, what color preferences do they have.
Quality assurance is supposed to be a way of checking that the materials have really gone through tests as required.
The Realtor, every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.
Things like cocaine can cause extremely high pressures and it can cause damage to the kidneys.
Main reason why people get constipated is food.
If you lie down flat and you notice you're having some difficulty breathing, yes, that could also be a sign of heart disease.
When the car breaks down, it is taken to the mechanic. But when the human body breaks down, where is it taken? This is why the Body Garage exists. Join us every Thursday, 8 p.m. as we bring you health expert advice. And I'll be your host, Dr. Chepsi.
wakati mwingine kama weekend, mimi najiachilia.
Hata ukumbuki history.
Nikifika watu wangu wakinipokea na kupokeleka.
Umeset the mood.
Nimeset the mood. Naweza kupokeleka. Nikitumai kwamba mzima popote pale ulipo, nikikukaribisha katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutuku. Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea siku nyingine. Tutapatana papa hapa umjue kiongozi mwingine.
Jiunge nasi toka hapa ufuoni mwa bahari.
Right, 5 minutes to 7 a.m. Welcome back. This is Morning Cafe. I want us to get into the political discussion this particular morning. And let me introduce a guest real quick, Honorable Nimrod Mbai, Member of Parliament for Kitui East. Very good morning to you, sir.
Morning, sir.
Karibu. Minko salama.
To traffic, I got a little bit late.
Karibu.
Asante.
Ndego Njiro, constitutional lawyer.
Yes, good morning, viewers. It's an opportunity for us to thank God for this new day, and most importantly for the rains. The crops are quite good. We are hoping to have a bumper harvest. We are only hoping that we are preparing to see on how we can store this harvest, because most of the time when you have had bumper harvest like we are now just about to have, we have had instances where the food has gone to waste because of contamination of something like aflatoxin. So I hope our farmers are now being prepared to learn on how to store these foods.
I'm curious the fact that you brought that up. Are you a farmer apart from
yes, I am a farmer.
Walking along the corridors of justice?
Yes, I am a farmer. Actually, here in Nairobi.
Okay.
Every day I wake up at about 3 o'clock in the morning to go and milk. Before I come to the studio, nimeshauza maziwa.
Okay.
Just here in Nairobi.
Right.
Yes. And of course, I'm also a coffee farmer.
Okay.
In Kirinyaga, and we are very frustrated by the coffee prices. This is not exactly what we expected. It is contrary to the promises that were given. The minimum guarantee prices was a mirage. It was never to happen, because actually what has happened in the coffee sector now, the prices have dropped from where we were. Uhuru left us at 120 shillings per kg. Today we are at 34 shillings per kg in some factories, others at 65, others at 70. So it's a serious, tremendous drop. And you remember, when we are doing this farming, most of it, we do it through credit. You go to the cooperative society, they give you farm input, they give you fertilizer, they give you chemicals for sprays, they give you advances for pruning. So when you pay, when you do the cost for producing 1 kg of coffee, you realize 1 kg of coffee requires about 45 shillings to produce, or between 45 to 50.
Do you think, real quick, before you introduce Honorable Gakuya, do you think, because Kirinyaga has been earmarked for the distribution of fertilizer, do you think it will help Kirinyaga?
It will not help, because even when we were selling this 1 kg of coffee at 120 or 100, between 120 thereabouts, we never used to get any subsidy from government, but we used to get good prices. Today we have subsidies, but bad prices. So it doesn't help us at all. So when you pay a farmer 34 shillings against the production cost of 50 shillings, what are you saying?
And Honorable James Gakuya, Member of Parliament for Embakasi North, we meet again once more. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Otherwise, our good people from Eastland are good despite distractions of yesterday's mandamano within our estates. But we hope things will come to normalcy and the life will still move on. Kenya is our mother nation, and it's important for everybody to note that your brother is the one who is your neighbor. It does not, regardless which community he comes from. So especially as who signed from this area of cosmopolitan, we have a duty to be at least the brothers of each other, and make sure that in fact at times when we have issues like mandamano, let us not choose to turn to each other. But at least if it's a mandamano, let us go for the mandamano which is peaceful, as ascertained by the Constitution.
Okay.
If it is practical, let us have those peaceful as addressed as the Constitution stipulates. But when we turn to each other, when you turn to your brother's supermarket and still does a single day, I'm not really sure that actually that you will be able to satisfy your hunger forever. You can satisfy your hunger for a day or two, but still you get back to the state that you normally. So I urge that, in fact, the communities should at least condone from attacking each other's property and respect each other, because by respecting our Constitution, it's making sure that we protect each other's right. That's the way to go. And to what the Wanjiru is trying to ascertain, I would say that in fact he's totally wrong, because he's very much, he's not like those fathers who are peasant farmer down there who does not understand the processes. He knows very well that it's not the national government who does the sale of the coffee. There is the process that actually is set up, and if their cooperatives would like to change that process from his cooperative home back there, they have the power, plenary powers, straight away to make any adjustment they may wish. The government is not interfering. So he cannot come here to tell the public that actually government is paying less other than who left 120. That is purely misdirecting people. And that's not the correct position. May he tell Kenyans the correct position, because markets are out there, and actually I can tell you for sure, if there is something that you don't require to seek for market, is coffee. Coffee is item that sells itself. It's as good in the market other than tea.
Right,
the problems that are there, I think it's a problem that you should assist us to come out of.
Okay, I'll give you a minute to definitely reply so that we can get into. I'm looking at Daily Nation. I can see Honorable Mbai, you have the Daily Nation with you on page. This is page 6. The pictorials of the mandamano that were there. But before that, Wakili, I'll give you the 1 minute to reply in matters coffee farming, because it is a pertinent
it's a very pertinent issue.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we are speaking about the prices of unga and we have this mandamano. It all boils down to farming. If our farmers are not motivated, if our farmers are not inspired, then you cannot expect that the farmers will still continue producing food for consumption by the nation. So the question of farming, the question of food security, is a question that needs to be looked into in a more depth and more objective manner. When I speak about the drop in coffee prices, I am not targeting any government. I am only saying that this government that was allegedly voted for by so many peasants, by so many hustlers, these hustlers who are farmers from Kirinyaga County, they are now lamenting that the prices of coffee has not maintained to what it was. They're only lamenting and saying that the prices of coffee, the so-called government that they voted for, has not lived up to its creed. Remember, there was a promise of the minimum guarantee returns. It was a good proposal if it could ever happen. So the farmers are asking themselves, and I am a farmer, where is the minimum guarantee return? Don't you forget one thing, that Mr. Gachagua has come out clearly saying that he's really pushing for the prices of coffee, and he's fighting the cartels, he is able to fight the cartels because he himself does not have any interest in coffee, you see, and then he's trying to bash and bangle some individuals as if they are those individuals who are affecting the prices of coffee. And the question is, when we had the so-called state capture, when the state capture was so much purportedly in existence, prices were at 124 coffee. When the so-called state capture is no longer in existence, when we have the freedom has come now, when we have the liberation, when you have the liberalization of the market, prices of coffee in a society called Mutira Farmers Cooperative Society, and this is dated the first Mutira Farmers Cooperative, the prices are low. They are not up to what we were told. So we're asking our members of parliament
asking
who are here,
as a farmer.
Yes, I'm a farmer.
As a farmer.
I am a farmer.
Are you to wrap that particular conversation, are you in any society or organization as part of it?
For us, we are just in cooperative societies, and it is in those cooperative societies that you are promised about minimum guarantees. Minimum guarantee will not be legislated in State House. It is the members of parliament, Mheshimiwa Kakuya present and Mheshimiwa Nimrod present, to go and help the farmers to legislate on the minimum guarantee return. That is what I'm trying to push.
Okay, allow me to...
Before you allow Nimrod, let me just chip in a bit, just a bit. I just want to ask the Wanjiru, because he has alluded that actually by the time Uhuru was exiting, the coffee price was as good as 124. Yes. Can you just tell us, was that magic? Was there a minimum guarantee by then?
There was no minimum guarantee.
Was there dependent on minimum guarantee?
There was none.
So can he be very clear on the aspects?
We are simply saying that you have negated on your promises.
And tell us exactly what is eating the other. He must start questioning his comparatives. Where are things going?
No, it's not about the comparatives.
For sure, if it is an issue to do with the national or international market, he has to understand. But issue to do with minimum guarantee. We have a lot of other areas of subsidy we are considering, and others we are not considering. And at this point, let him not be ready for that subsidy. Subsidy is now back to production, back to the fertilizer he's ignoring. Yes, let us get back there.
Honorable Mbai, definitely. The topic that Wakili brought up on matters coffee. I don't know. You as a member of parliament, if you're a farmer on the side, if in Kitui East they're also affected matters, coffee and matters, production of basically matters of agriculture. Before we actually dive into the pictorials that we're seeing here on Mandabana.
Yeah, in Ukambani. Basically, we are not more on coffee and tea, apart from some areas, the hills of Kangundo and Kadiane, where we have some farmers doing tea, basically, and they are doing well. What we can say is there is a proactive program. Actually, the issues to do with the tea and the coffee were moved directly under the office of the Deputy President, so that he can work with the cooperative societies and the farmers to see now how we can raise this cost to the farmer, so that the farmer can fetch what is due to him and also stabilize the price, what we are calling the minimum guaranteed returns.
Okay.
It's not a switch where you can switch off and switch on. There's a process that is needed for us to get there, So we are getting there. I want to assure Wakili, we are getting there. The Deputy President, all these cooperatives, actually I've heard some has been banned from dealing with the farmers because they are the cartels. So something is working. It's only that you can't work magic overnight. And I know Wakili will be happy in a few months about the issue of coffee. What the challenge we're having is some of these problems had been embedded into the systems, the state capture systems. So to unplug them from there, it is not as easy as someone can think. You have to do so much to get them done, and that much
just to answer Wakili, Kenya is a big exporter to matters coffee, but then where did the rain start beating us? Because we will produce a lot of coffee, tea, and take it outside the country, but then the farmers don't really feel that whatever they have produced really equates to what they have. You talk about matters state capture. Where is this state capture really lying?
State capture comes in when the farmers are constrained to a few buyers, the brokers, the people who are in the middle of the farmer and the processors. These are the people who now want to make a big kill. They are not farmers, they want a big kill before the coffee reaches the market. And what they are doing is only value addition. So we are looking at the point of value addition, which will give now money to farmers. Value addition that is not affected by cartels, that is not affected by people who are interested in much profit than the farmer who has actually been growing coffee in the farms. I think that's the most important thing, and that is what the Deputy President is working on.
Right.
And there is a whole team of experts, especially from the coffee and tea growing areas, who are working under the task force, under the Deputy President's office.
I think
what I would request Wakili is for time. As I put it, this is not something you can switch on and switch off as like electricity. It needs time to work on until it works. The other thing is when you export raw, and now we bought a processed product that has to be stopped. This capacity to process from here, we need now to bring the capacity to process from here, because first it will give us jobs, because the factory is processing, will give our people jobs, and also the country, the government, the cooperative societies will be in a position will have a higher say in controlling the prices. But when you give raw coffee to other countries, developed countries, for them to process, then we get back cappuccino in our outlets here. We have no control. But when the processing is being done here at home,
we tend to have more control.
We love control.
Wakili, have the last say.
Allow me to sum up this by saying...
And actually, as you sum it up, as a farmer and other many farmers in Kirinyaga County, do they have the time? He speaks about farmers should have the time and patience.
No, we cannot have the time and the patience when we are hungry and we are not able to take our children to school. We cannot have time and patience when you're not living the standards that people, a normal farmer should live. We cannot have the patience and the comfort when our farmers are languishing in poverty. May I say this by summing up? Last year, and last year, 2022, 2021, even 2020 when they had Corona, a kg of macadamia was going for 180, up to 200 shillings. Today, as late as last year, a kg of macadamia was going for at least 150. Today, it is going for 20 shillings. Last year, a kg of coffee was at least going for not less than 100 shillings. Today, it's going for 34 shillings. When last year, we had an alleged or an assumed state capture. Today, we have freedom, we don't have state capture. Why the variance in the crops prices? That's the question they should answer us. So much so that then the farmers are able to move. Because even as they keep on saying, oh, there are cartels, farmers were paid 120 shillings in the midst of those cartels. Now the cartels are not purportedly there. What has happened to the prices? You see, we must have an objective approach to this issue, because these are very emotive issues to us. It's an issue, Mount Kenya is predominantly an agricultural setup. So when I hear Mheshimiwa Gakuya, who comes from somewhere from Murang'a or perhaps in Nyandarua, and he's not concerned about that issue and he's just brushing it away, just because he has to please his masters, then I wonder who he's representing.
Because you have the Daily Nation there, and because you're speaking about matters emotive, head into page 6, the pictorials that you're seeing there. And
but maybe before you get out of that, just you allow. You know, this state capture thing, its effects were not to be had or felt by the farmer that immediate. This is something which had been said to be perpetuated if the people now who are on state capture managed to clinch power in 2022. That is the time now they were to reap the benefits of state capture. So by that time, they had not entrenched their ruthlessness in the state capture. There was some time frame when now this will sink in and the prices will go down so that they can benefit. But now with the Asla government, that was cut short. And that's why the Asla government is working on what these guys had tried to mess up.
Right, 8
so
months in the Kenya Kwanza government, so we definitely expect to see how
that's why I'm requesting Wakili for some time,
the state of
because
the
people who is trying to praise that they had made the coffee prices go up.
Okay.
They are the same people who messed up so that the prices can go down. If
they are not in power.
Right.
Are these guys in power?
Okay, kindly, let's
I think these guys are not able to
now.
manage the governance of this country.
Okay.
It's a high time they accept that they have a challenge in the manner in which they are managing this system and this government. Because they keep on blaming even individuals who are not in power. 8 months later, they're still saying that Uhuru has affected the prices of coffee. Uhuru has affected the prices of macadamia. How has Uhuru affected the prices of macadamia and he's not in State House? He's not running any government currently.
Okay, Wakili,
let me because you're heading to IDAP, and it was a very thorny topic. And equally, I want to be very clear that I'm equally a farmer, and I'm a tea farmer, and I understand this process very well. Whether we require more registration or not, I understand. And I happen to be the parliamentary chairman who is leading the Parliamentary Committee of Trade.
Yeah.
So I understand how the system works. The Wanjiru, he also understands. He just wants to mislead the person who is out there.
I am not.
But I can tell you for sure, the Wanjiru can stand here with the facts. Tell us what have changed, what the new regime has removed from the previous line of marketing. In a single market that the new government has closed, nothing. So the cooperative have their right of their daily duty to market their coffee, whichever way they want. Actually, a farmer has a right either to sell in bonds or to sell at the final product. That's the decision of an individual. Cooperatives have their powers and they have their rights and they deal within that bracket. Government is not interfering in anybody. Liberalization does not mean there is anybody who is close to the market.
Remember,
the government is only there to provide that environment, that condition so that they can sell anywhere they want.
No.
Ali Wakili was asking you if you're from Murang'a or Nyandarua, you can clarify for him that. But then whichever place you come from, let alone Embakasi North, what are the farmers saying? What are they? Do they have the trust in the cooperative societies that they are in? Do they have the trust in the government, the time and the patience? What are they saying?
I am sure in the tea industry things are working, but there's a small area that actually is still a teething matter in coffee, because one, coffee is the most selling, and I can tell you it should be the product which is also been paying back to the farmer in a large way in terms of value of that side of production. But this is not happening. And this element of middlemen, unless it is properly dealt with, the farmer will never see the right of the day of that profit. Because the farmer is always hungry and he deals with that coffee, then he can be confused by this middleman at the center and sell at the market because he needs cash. But whoever will be comfortable to wait for value addition, and then that final product is being sold outside, the money comes back is a more value money. But you cannot compare the two. Whoever sells at the local market cannot be the same like the one who was able to wait for that process.
You know, my brother.
And let me tell you, in this particular area, one has a right to sell either in cooperatives or any other free market.
Do these farmers understand all these particular processes? Because I believe most farmers will, go for middlemen, and the middleman will tell them, no, you have this particular amount of money, give this particular amount of money so that I can actually reach this particular person.
One thing,
do these tea farmers or coffee farmers, do they understand this particular process?
One thing I am sure that not everybody or not every farmer understands this. And at the time during our last supplementary budget, we set aside some money so that the farmers can be educated on their rights. Also how to access the cherry fund. Because we realize the cherry fund has not even yet been utilized. It is just targeted somewhere. And the farmers are unable to reach this particular facility. Why? Because they have no this understanding. And unless they are being educated to get this understanding, in the area of cooperatives, we have the KPCU, who has that mandate to deal with. And that is where we wasted the money. And we hope that is actually, for those who require that kind of information, it will be, that will be to trickle down to them. But as we start, I would also expect that those who are knowledgeable, like Dev and Jiro, should be in the forefront also to teach the farmer down there, because you'll be losing nothing.
Right. We absolutely lose nothing, but it becomes very difficult for you to call a hungry farmer for a civil day to give him some civil education on why KPC is not functionable, on why the dollar has not, even with the rise of the dollar today at 138, the coffee per kg is still costing 34 shillings. We expected that with as much as the rise in the dollar has affected the shilling, at least you will have had some kind of increment in the coffee prices, because coffee is sold in terms of dollars. But you see, there's somebody somewhere in this particular economic ecosystem who is manipulating the dollar for his own benefit. And that is why you can see today a kg of macadamia is going for 20 shillings. All what we are saying is this as we sum up this topic. Farmers are disgruntled, farmers are frustrated, farmers are not able to take their children to school. Remember, help is not there. Remember, something like the CDF is not sufficient, especially for those people who come from Mount Kenya region like me and Mheshimiwa Gakuya. A student going to Kenyaga High School, a student going to Muranga High School, a student going to Jiri High School, whatever school it may be, is given 1,000 shillings as bursary, because that is what Mheshimiwa is able to give. And he has tried kabisa, but the population is big. So what are we saying? We are saying we have issues in the Mount Kenya region that are ailing us. We need to go back as Mount Kenya region, political community, and think on how to sort out these issues. But what is happening is, there are some elements in Mount Kenya region that has lit fire and fires of division within Mount Kenya region, to the extent that now Mount Kenya region people, they have started fighting each other. Instead of us agitating and pushing for issues of reforms like in the coffee sector, the tea sector, the milk sector, the macadamia sector, and all those other sectors, we are now fighting our own.
But then these particular problems, to again sum it up, these particular problems bedevil not only Mount Kenya region, but then other parts of the country. But then
every region has its representatives.
Yeah,
so me, I would rather represent Mount Kenya region.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You know, Honorable Gakuya is saying that you're a man who, with facts and with knowledge. To wrap it up, your advice to the coffee farmer who is watching you this particular morning, they're probably having coffee, drinking, like you are, tea.
Yes.
Your advice to them?
My advice to them is this. Next time when you're going to make a decision on how to establish a regime or to vote a leader, vote wisely. Don't vote on emotional basis. Don't vote because you've been given promises. Ask yourself, what is the possibility of the fulfillment of that promise? For example, when you promise a farmer that you're going to give him the minimum guarantee returns, and you realize that prices of commodities are controlled by the forces of demand and supply, you are simply telling a lie. Even that issue of guarantee minimum returns will never happen, because you cannot be able to fixate and dictate to the market. You cannot just say that if you do not get this product at these particular prices, I am not going to sell this to you. If you don't sell this to me, I'll go to the next person who's going to open these doors and sell to me. So what I'm telling farmers is that you are lied to. There was nothing to be like the minimum guarantee return. It was a lie. It was a political gimmick. And if it is a reality, let the members of parliament today, I challenge Mheshimiwa Nimrod, I challenge Mheshimiwa Gakuya to go to parliament and legislate that law.
All right, thank you.
If it is possible.
Right, thank you.
I think we can sum it there.
No.
Let's expand and expand.
Definitely.
And it is a tall order.
It's a tall order.
And I can tell you for sure, there will be no single miracle that actually the Wanjiru can be able to confirm to Kenyans that the other regime which exited.
We were paid at 120.
I have asked you a simple question. Was the last regime, depending on that element of topping up, that was not the case.
Farmers don't care about that.
As we are, okay. I would just try to explain to him and just tell him that there was a majority. Loam wasn't built a day. We're in the process.
But last
and
year we were paid at
the issues of
120.
coffee, issues of milk,
Discrepancy.
issues of tea are on course. And I'm telling you, with this one short time, you will realize
last year you were paid at 120. Why
Well,
the variance?
it is a challenge that he has put in as members of parliament. But then shifting away from matters, the coffee and the agricultural, because as I say, quite pertinent. Farmers are definitely watching us this morning. But then again, still on is something that a challenge to members of parliament. It is the bipartisan talks and the whole talks that are ongoing. The pictorials that we're seeing this particular morning, what was happening yesterday. What are your thoughts, even looking at how the streets of Nairobi were yesterday?
First is, I've been on this matter on several occasions. I've never been convinced that there is need for talks, because we have a country, we have a government which is running, and is being run by Kenyans. We don't have a Ugandan as our president. We don't have Zimbabweans as our ministers for agriculture or for trade or for this. All those guys who are running our government are Kenyans and equally feel the challenges we are having. That feeling of I'm the one who can address these challenges better, and the guys who are voted in to address the challenges can't manage, is what baffles me. So, clearly speaking, if anybody was asked pragmatically to analyze the reason for any talks, at least you will find nothing. Let's get to the issues where we need to discuss the talks.
Do you feel like the talks at this point are a dead end?
The talks are not a dead end. I don't believe in individualism, because we have a bipartisan team in parliament. Both parties have selected their panels, they are meeting, but now the people who are in charge, that is the party leaders, and the party leader on one side, Azimio, has said there are some things they would need addressed before they sit down for the negotiations, for the talks. And what some of the things they have quoted is the cost of living, that the cost of hunger has to go below 100 shillings before we sit to talk. First, we ask ourselves a simple question. How did the cost of hunger get to 250? And when did the cost of hunger get to 250? The same people who are saying we will not sit and talk unless the cost of hunger gets down to below 100 shillings are the people who got the cost of hunger to 250 shillings. Now we have a new regime which is working on lowering that cost. Up to yesterday, we had some brands selling at 150 shillings. So it's a matter of time for, and the measures which were put for this hunger to come from 230, 250 to 150 were measures which basically did not touch on the core measures that will enable the cost of hunger to go down. The main way of getting the cost of hunger to below 70 shillings is increasing production at a lower cost. And that's where the government has invested. We've said we don't subsidize consumption, because when you subsidize consumption, that is something that will be continuous. You are treating headache instead of treating malaria. So because the malaria is still in you, you will always have headache, and you will treat headache until you die. So why can't we treat malaria so that this headache can stop? That's why the president said, instead of subsidizing consumption, and when we talk of subsidizing consumption, we mean this. The handshake government took the cost of 2 kg packet of hunger to 250 shillings. Then they said, when the customer is, the consumer is buying, the government is going to pay 50 shillings, then the consumer can pay 200. That's a situation that can go on for the eternity.
Right.
There's no way of stopping it. But when the government, when the new government, when the William Ruto government came on board, they said, we can't sustain this. we want to fix it in a manner that it will not go for eternity. What we will do now, we will subsidize production.
But then,
how do we do it?
Okay.
We give better seeds, we we subsidize fertilizer, and we also engage farmers because farmers had gotten demoralized in farming because of the cost of fertilizer.
Instead to cut you short, because I want to take a short break. After this short break, I want to get into, as you continue on the whole talks and the demands by both teams, how if this particular measures by President William Ruto or the post-austerity measures matters, subsidizing and actually cutting matters, the subsidies and all that. You're watching Morning Cafe. Keep talking to us. Quite a number of your feedback I'm seeing on our Facebook pages. Keep talking to us. We'll be right back.
Wakati mwingine kama weekend, mimi najiachilia.
Hata ukumbuki history.
Nikifika watu wangu watu wakinipokea na kupokeleka.
Umeset the mood.
Nimeset the mood. Naweza kupokeleka. Nikitumai kwamba mzima popote pale ulipo, nikikukaribisha katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutuku. Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea siku nyingine. Tutapatana papa hapa umjue kiongozi mwingine.
Jiunge nasi toka hapa hadi ufuoni mwa bahari. Meli yetu itakapotua nanga kwa uhondo ribo ya riwaya hii mwisho wa kosa. Monica.
It's early morning in Maralal. Start your morning informed, educated, entertained, and above all, know your country. From the beautiful plains of Samburu County to the skyscrapers of Nairobi, Morning Cafe certainly got you covered. Indeed, a beautiful place to watch and certainly a moment of understanding and knowing your country. Indeed, to the remotest parts of every county.
Join me, Linda Alela, every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
The diversity of Kenya's wild.
Welcome back. This is Morning Cafe, and even during that particular short break, the gentleman is still discussing matters kahawa. So it is definitely a hot topic. But then, Honorable Bai, still on matters, the talks. You're saying that you don't really believe in matters defeatism. As we progress on this particular talks, we'll be having matters cost of living. It is 2023. Come 2027, the measures that President William Ruto has or is setting right now, come 2027, will we still be having these particular matters of cost of living? When should Kenyans be seeing the fruits of these particular measures that are being set?
I think let's discuss this in 8 months.
In 8 months from now?
We have this discussion 8 months from now.
Okay.
And we look at the cost of living from unga to fuel to all the other consumables, to medicine,
8 months from now?
To school fees. Let's look at that. Let's evaluate the Ruto government 8 months from now.
Why 8 months from now?
Because you need, you can't fix a problem within 8 months as a government. The William Ruto government is now 7 months, approaching 8 months in power. And the whole things had been messed up.
My friend.
He has to do so much to put things right.
Can I give you...
And judging a government within 6 months, I think it's unfair.
Can I give you...
Let's judge this government after 1 year.
Can I tell you
which I'm asking, let's hold this discussion in another 8 months.
Right.
Within another 8 months, Wakil here will have bought unga at a cost less than 100 shillings. The prices is looking for coffee will have gone high as to the farmer. We know the state capture on milk. We have liberalized the market for milk. We have several processors.
Can I weigh in on that?
We've also gone ahead and liberalized the market for so many other produce which were basically gas. You remember gas and gas cylinders were being done by one company.
And before,
but now
before Wakili comes in,
Taifa Gas coming in.
Allow me to ask you this, Honorable Mbai, before Wakili comes in. In 8 months from now, how sure are we? Because things change, you know.
My brother,
there might be
he will not have an answer
and all that. I just want to give you.
There are external factors.
Mashiko has no answer to that question.
Allow me to give you a
simple
simple example. When Ruto took over in last year, let's say, was it August, September, October? It's when he took over, because there was this Supreme Court case thing that slowed the days for his swearing in. The cost of unga was 250 shillings. Yeah?
No, he's lying. He's not. That was not the case.
I'm not lying. It's factual.
That was not the
there.
case.
The case of unga, 2 kg packet, was 250 shillings. Today, after 6 months, the cost of unga is 150 shillings.
GMO.
There's still some.
The GMO unga is 150 shillings.
No, there's no GMO.
The GMO unga is 150
shillings. Wait, the court stopped the GMO products to our country, and what we have now is not GMO.
The GMO
what we have is duty-free maize,
continue.
Which have come to the country, and these millers were given permission to buy maize from other countries which are selling at a cheaper price, so that they can process unga and sell to Kenyans at a lower price. And basically, some of the brands who are selling at 150 are not selling that because of the cost of production. They are selling that because of making profits, because they have a brand. You know, there are people who love some brands. Like myself, I will go for a certain brand at home. I like ugali from this brand. So this brand that is selling at 150 may not be my favorite, but because I can afford, I will go for the 150. So but that mother who cannot afford has a choice to go for the 150 kg. If within 6 months, William Ruto has managed to lower the cost of unga from 250 to 150, and the measures he said will sort out this problem properly has not yet matured, which is subsidizing production. Maize will need 5 months after sowing to the point of taking to the miller, isn't it? So there's no way we can accelerate the maize to grow faster than 5 months so that we can take the grains to the miller. So after the natural time of maize growing and being harvested, drying to the level that it can be processed, that will take like 6 months.
So in short, according to
when the subsidized maize will get to the millers, take
the next 8 months, how much should
we will go below 100 shillings.
So in the next 8 months, when we walk into the shops, a packet of unga should be 100 shillings.
Yes, because we can see the process. In 6 months, he has knocked it down to 150 from 250.
Right.
So we believe, and that the maize we are growing locally is not the one that is being done by the millers. The maize we are growing locally will be done by the millers within 2 months. So within another 2 months, the maize which has been grown through the subsidized fertilizer, the subsidized seeds, the quality seeds, is when it will be getting to the millers. And by then, the cost of unga will go down to below 70 shillings. But when someone says, we are not going to engage with the government when the cost of unga is not below 70 shillings, let's be realistic as human beings. We know how to grow maize. Not unless you are a fisherman, you've never grown maize. You know maize will take not less than 5 months to get it to the millers. So you are just trying to say something which is impossible, and you are forcing it to be done as if you are not thinking properly. And I believe some of these guys are not thinking properly. Maybe due to the challenges of age, or they just don't want to think because of political reasons.
I hear you. Wakili,
yes.
Still on matters talks, he says he doesn't believe in defeatism, but was the parliamentary way the way to go? Because
Wow.
at this point, you know, as he says, as Mio says that they won't engage in this talks if the cost of unga doesn't reach this particular point, if this particular member of parliament is not removed, or the other. Was the parliamentary process the right way to go? Even as you chime in on what he was talking about.
The parliamentary way is not the way to go, simply because it doesn't open up the process for a substantive debate and for a larger cross-section of actors. Remember, the issues that we are dealing with are not matters that are exclusive of the political class. The matters that we are raising are cuts across the entire Kenyan society. So everybody who has an issue that requires to be looked into must be given a platform and an avenue for ventilating those issues. When you go to parliament, and of course we know parliament has its procedures because of the standing orders that they have, you have completely closed down those issues. For example, in Mount Kenya region is a pertinent issue that we need to deal with, the question of the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. We need to deal with the question of equitable and equal representation in parliament and in government. In this country, we need to deal with the question of nepotism and ethnicization of our public sector and our public service. Because what you can see now today, we are only posting members from one particular community. One particular community is the one that is now taking over the entire public service system. So there are so many pertinent issues.
On your Twitter handle, you say all of them are Kenyan, so...
Yes,
is it double speak or was it sarcastic?
Yes, I ask, why are guys so much agitated that colleges are the ones that are taking appointments? They are Kenyans and they have the shareholdings of the company. You see?
So was it sarcastic on your Twitter handle, or are you
I wanted to make a communication to the people, the implication of Mr. Gashagua's statement, that because the Kalenjins were out in support of this government, they are so much legitimately entitled to the shareholding vis-a-vis the majority of the allocation of the jobs vacancies.
Right,
but now, back to the question of how do we need to move on. We need to understand that in 2010, we all agreed that we needed to refine our constitution. So we need to ask ourselves, is this now the most opportune time for us to refine this constitution? And if we have to refine this constitution, can the process of refining this constitution be an exclusive affair of the political class? The answer to that is no, because this constitution does not belong to them. They themselves do not even believe in this constitution. They have not implemented this constitution. They have never ever supported this constitution. So the process of constitutional reforms must be given back to the people, because the constitution belongs to the people. It is they themselves who speak through the constitution about their aspirations, their wishes, and their norms must be seen in it. So the bipartisan process is a closed secret society's process. May I just weigh in on what he said about the question of
before you actually go to, because I know you definitely want to talk about matters cost of unga.
No, about the 8 months, but
definitely. Even as you say, you know, it is it embodies both, you know, the bipartisan, both, you know, teams, the 14 team, getting together. The governors also have formed a 10 ad hoc committee.
Yes.
Do you believe, and I'll also get a response from you, Honorable Kakui, on the same.
Yes.
Do you believe this will again help?
No. I think that gesture by the governors is a good gesture, and we need to have both state actors and non-state actors forming such kind of lobby groups, so that at the end of the day and at the fullness of time, we're able to open up this process of constitutional reforms and we're able to get what we need. For example, when you look at the county government setup, and when you look at the provisions of Article 147 and 174, Article 174 says there is established a county government which shall consist of the county assembly and the county executive. But what has turned out now to be is that the county executive has insubordinated the county assemblies to the extent that the county assemblies are not able to execute their mandate of oversight. I will give an example of the county assembly of Kiambu. The county assembly of Kiambu is in disarray. They have completely been suppressed. They have completely been insubordinated by the county executive. Why? Because the county executive does not want to strengthen the county government, the county assemblies institutions, so that they are not able to execute their mandate of oversight. That is one area that we must look into. And if we want to strengthen devolution, and if we want to kill the stealing and the robbery that is happening in the county governments, we must strengthen those institutions by looking at the laws that have been enacted.
And
I hope these members of parliament...
Speaking of which, even as the governors come in briefly,
Yes.
Because I definitely know you want to chime into the whole 8 months from now, briefly, how again should this particular talks be? When the governors come on board, how much say should the governors be giving out?
What is happening with the coming of the governors? It's an unverbal communication that, the governors have no platform before that committee. Mm-hmm. Nobody has a platform before that committee. If you're not an elected member of parliament, you have no avenue whatsoever. The moment you go before that committee, without the authority of the chairman at his choice, he tells you you're a stranger in this committee. So what the governors are trying to intimate is that let us open up these talks. We have so many issues that are ailing people from Mount Kenya region. And I hope the members of parliament from Mount Kenya region, they should be in the forefront, led by Mheshimiwa Gachagua here, not becoming a praise and worship team. A team that sees no evil, a team that speaks no evil. They should be in the forefront of now pushing for the agitation of the things that have been ailing us since 2010, since we gained our independence. Okay. So in my view, for example, look at the way government is set up. Alice Wahome is given the CS of water. Mm-hmm. Then the executor is another person. What are they saying? What comes out of it? The next thing we see on the papers is that 1.3 billion of money that was meant to install water in Mount Kenya region has been diverted. What do we see? People ranting, oh yes, we were not consulted. Why? Because the kind of the political setup we have does not create a situation whereby people can be able to be listened to. Why? Because we have a setup system whereby you go into a coalition, like the presumed, and I'm saying presumed. By the way, there's no even coalition between William Ruto and Gachagua. There is no, Gachagua is just a flower girl for William Ruto. Okay. Why? Because he went there without any political party. So it is for him to be manipulated by individuals in a particular political party. And what you can see this regime is doing, they are killing political parties that can have the alternative voice. And those are the kind of the reforms we want. We were saying we must respect our democracy. So basically, our democracy is premised. As I finish up, okay. I have hand over to Mheshimiwa. Our democracy is premised on so many other aspects. Among them, strong political parties that are independent and free from infiltration by the state. So to the extent that Mount Kenya region does not have a political party, and now they want to kill Jubilee, the members of Mount Kenya region, the only much they can say is to follow Mr. Gachagua wherever he goes. If he's going for a birthday party, they follow him. Okay. He's going for a baby shower, they follow him, and they still keep on singing those showers and praise and worship.
I think it was
8 months from now.
These guys have lost directions completely.
Okay, has landed from now. No, he was speaking. I could not tell where he was coming from, but I can now tell he has landed. That Jubilee is dead and people are following Gachagua. That is
for baby shower. Since
I never knew what was
since this guy became the deputy president, what substantive issue has he done for Mount Kenya region? Including coffee farmers now being paid 20 shillings per kg, and he's the deputy president. We keep on following for baby showers and birthday parties.
Right, 8 months from now, briefly, as he was
8
talking
months
about.
From now, there's zero they will have done. Let me tell you, bro. If today, your wife is blessed with a child, with a baby, and you find that 5 months down the line, the baby has not made any movement, he's not walking, he's not babbling, he's just docile there, you must understand there's a problem with that baby, perhaps he needs some pediatric actions taken on that particular person, because the growth of the baby should be progressive and should advance with the advance of the stages of time that is evolving. So if you find that you have a government that is marking timing and saying, oh, the previous government did this, did and this and this, take that government to a pediatric. Take that government to a pediatric, because that government is sick. The child has a problem. The child, at least within 5 months, should start crowing. Within 5 months, should start babbling. Should at least have some reaction that is indicative of the baby is growing. But when you see the baby is docile, the way he left his mother's womb, and you keep on complaining, oh, you know, I had some issues with my pregnancy, you know, I had some issues with my what, the baby has a problem and needs a pediatric intervention.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Gakuya, as speaks about matters taking the baby to the pediatrician, I believe maybe in the Kenya Kwanza regime, you'll also dive into that. But then still on the same, was the parliamentary way the right way as a member of parliament? And so far, because this particular talks stalling, was the parliamentary way the right way to go?
One thing, we must define the matters we are urging the entire nation to come together and listen about. One, according to the number of issues that were floated by the SMU fraternity, one was that cost of living. Number two was issues to do with opening of servers. Number three was issue of redeploying Kenacherela and such things. Those are not matters to take to public forums. Those are issues that are really meant to be handled by that registration level. Because if you have issues with the panel and the formula that actually which has constitutes the panel to appoint the commissioners for IBC, then that's purely registration area. And in case those were the zone areas, they would say yes. Issue to do with matters to do with the cost of living. Actually, it belongs to everybody.
Yeah.
That is across board. Because there is no hunger of a Luo or a Ruya or a Kikuyu. A hunger is a hunger. And therefore, anybody who has ideas that he felt that actually his ideas are not implemented anywhere, he should come on the board with the immediate effect and contribute. Give us that magic that you think can put us out of this problem. Yes, one thing that let me tell you. There are those interventions that the Wanjiru cannot see at this point. And those interventions has already taken place. Because obviously, the intervention that the government can only do was to buy what was in the stores of our people, and that has been done. Their stores has nothing. And then after that, then you should rely before, as that process was explained by Nimrod, that there's no way that you can, miracle that you can be able to sow today and harvest tomorrow. There is a process. And before that is done, then there is the other intervention of making sure that actually those who are listening to do what we call imports in COMESA are now doing that, because all COMESA countries, because you cannot tell us that we must go to maybe China to bring maize from, or India or elsewhere. We have also maize within our African countries who are under COMESA. And that those particular windows are totally open for everybody, either a miner or a trader. It's open for them. And that is what is now happening today. And I think that intervention, because that barrier of tax is off, actually that is the way that actually you can be able to bring an imported maize and sell it to a miller with a low cost. Otherwise, with the cost, with the tax, it will still come to 6,000, equivalent to the local maize. And therefore, there is no difference of trickling down the price you are targeting to.
Already.
So those are interventions, and they are already taken care of, and the Ministry of Agriculture has done that.
Okay.
And has gone extra mile, even also to give another window for exemption for maybe those areas like Mexico where you can get more cheaper maize. And let me tell you, that has been taken place, and I can tell you those interventions are already done. Number two, let us agree and let us not demonize things. There is no way you can tell us permanently we should be subsidizing the consumption. That is not bearable. The only route to bail you out is to make sure that you are dealing with what we call production. Because production will give you a result at the end of the day. Because it's the only way that the inputs, those farming inputs cannot be able to give you a lesser price at the end of the day. Otherwise, fail to do that, those interventions are not there. The maize will never step anything below of 6,000 because the farmer must be always putting his costing. And they are able to go that. They just make sure that that's those subject for fertilizer, and then make sure that actually there will be a drop of the price at the harvesting level. Where from 6,000 you can expect that the maize can come to the market at 4,000. And that way you will realize your expectation. Right. That projection can only work. Any other projection is magic, and I cannot promise you.
You talk about matters cost of living
yes.
for a break, and to have everyone on board, yes. Kindly, and to have everyone on board to discuss matters of cost of living, having the governors and other key players come on board to actually have these particular talks. Again, on the other hand, will it be fair for both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza to maintain their hardline stance and not actually because Azimio says Aden Kinan should be removed, Kenya Kwanza on the other hand saying Kosing should be removed from these particular talks. Having other players on board, is it fair for now the parliamentarians to be playing politics on these particular talks?
One thing, I stand here to represent the Embakasi North constituency, and my answer is we are not back to the National Accord. Because the National Accord was a time when there was such a chaotic situation of an election result. We have grown from that level of 2007 to the level of now 2022 at a result where our results of election worldwide were committed. And therefore, anybody demonizing that actually we went to a Bush election is a liar. And I can tell you, unless one would like to take this country into a quagmire, we should not be talking of those issues because they are past tense. Because our final petitioner listener is our last court of law, which is the Supreme Court. It has ruled it. It has made a verdict, which was a close clear of anonymous decision.
My brother.
When that position was reached, anybody else who would not like to tell us in what we mark timing must not take us back to what we opening observer. Because I've not interfered with him. He's a lawyer. He understands very well what is the process of opening already assumed ballot box. The law is very clear. That's only a court of law which can be able to give an order to open such a box once it is sealed.
My brother.
Period. Any other election material is only a court order which can direct. And let me tell you, these servers are not kept at State House. They know well where the servers are and where they are kept. Go seek that order from the court. Why do you want to escape that route? We cannot handle things that can be handled on the right way in a jungle route. These guys want to go this jungle route because they want to. And let me tell you, they are not serious and they are not committed to this kind of discussion. They only want to create a quagmire. And let me tell you, the end point is a negotiation for a Mukate, which we can't allow. And we can. What is this? You are telling us to create a room, a bigger room to discuss. What is it? What is wrong? What is out of order? What is out of order? That actually we must call every other Kenyan now to sit. We are just come from an election. Let us give the election results a verdict. Let us allow the Kenyans that have make a decision and that are obstructing a service to be done to them. We cannot. Why do we are not even in this government a year. When we want them to bring an issue to do with what we call now issues to do with what we call constitutional issues. Because at this point, it is not admissible.
Answer me this before you take a short break, kindly. I really need to take a short break, but then kindly, I'll engage you after this short break, Wakili. Answer me this.
Let Wakili understand. He's a professional. He's a lawyer. He knows the processes to
how important is Kosing in this particular talks? How important is both Kosing and Kenan in these talks? Because both factions are maintaining hardline stance that they won't continue.
One thing, what I would say,
how important is Kosing?
If both parties are serious enough, those two parties, those two appointed representatives, if the Azimio is serious enough with this particular matter, let them remove that Kosing from the panel and replace him. And then the other team automatically will do the same. That way, we will see who is who, following the other. Because I am sure it is not Kenan, it is not Kosing which have issues. The people just want to stagnate this particular process. Nobody is ready because it is a hidden agenda. It's a process with ill motive. We cannot be able to reach at any point of a transformation if we start with a wrong feeling, wrong thinking. And let me tell you, I can tell you for sure, the idea to discuss this particular matter was there, but it was plotted on a bad deal.
Right, hold that thought there. Let's take a short break, kindly, gentlemen. Wakili, I know you're burning to reply to what Honorable Gakui is saying.
I'm surprised by the kind of the agitation and the emotion that he has gone up with.
Okay, you're watching Morning Cafe. Definitely stick around for this particular question. Let's take a short break. You'll hold that thought. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
But I know that meat looks tender, but maybe not so much when your chest is burning. Remember what happened the last time? Hey, dude, you don't listen, man. Are you testing yourself? I tried looking out for you, bro. Hey, you see now? How's the heartburn? Look now, it's burning.
Do not hold back in any situation. Eno gets to work on the 6 symptoms of heartburn fast.
You do know you said all of that out loud, right?
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Your health is not just about going to the hospital. Your health is about prevention, it's about what you eat, it's about where you live. For this reason, the Body Garage Show exists.
The part of the brain that deals with communication.
Called primary hypertension, which means that we don't find a reason for that.
Join me, Dr. Chepsi, every Thursday, 8 p.m.
Right, welcome back, and quite a heated conversation during this particular short break. Wakili, I'll give you the opportunity to return. I'll come to you, Honorable Mbai, to discuss matters because both teams, as Mio leader Raila Odinga says, and he faults William Ruto for trying to change the constitution. We'll get to that, but then I'll allow you, I'll give you a minute to reply to what Honorable Gakuya is saying.
It surprises me again to hear Mheshimiwa Gakuya, who is from Murang'a, not addressing the issues that are ailing us. Why do we need a constitutional review process?
He's a representative of Embakasi North, not?
Yes, but he's born and bred from Murang'a. He just here across Gatango or somewhere there.
Okay.
And there we have a problem, and we must accept we have a problem as Mount Kenya region. Which problem do we have? We have a problem of unequal and unequitable representation.
And it is known.
And I commend Mheshimiwa Gathoni wa Mushomba because she has come out very clearly about that issue. I also commend Mheshimiwa Kionjori because he has come out very clear on those particular issues. The issue is about representation. Democracy all over the world is about representation. There is no democracy without representation. And then how do we represent? We represent people, not trees, not the ground, not rivers, not the geographical setup. And we have a formula in the Constitution which is saying when we are determining how to represent, we shall look at the population of those people who we need to represent. And when you look at the population in Mount Kenya region, vis-a-vis our representation, it means that sisi tumedanganywa. And for us to be able to move towards that direction, Mheshimiwa Gakuya, We cannot open up that debate without opening up the debate about the constitutional review. For example, we are coming up with the issues of the border delineation and the delimitation of boundaries by the IBC.
Okay.
IBC mandate is to delimit and delineate the boundaries, not to increase constituencies. When we go to the issues of the boundary review this year, what will happen is those constituencies or those communities that are holding constituencies that they do not need will not relinquish them to the regions that need those constituencies. Do you understand? There are some constituencies in this country which do not, they have not attained the population quota. They are below the population quota. And the law says they must be warded up and they must be surrendered to those areas which needs them. But the question is, because of the political processes, which region is ready to surrender their constituencies for the benefit of Mount Kenya region? And don't ask me why I'm representing Mount Kenya region. I am representing Mount Kenya region because that is where I come from and that is where election injustice has happened. So when we speak about election injustice, we are not just speaking about the opening of the server. That is one limb. And the opening of the server symbolizes a free, fair, and transparent election. So that next time, when he's standing for election, Mheshimiwa Nimrod and Mheshimiwa Kapi is standing for presidency, we shall have free election. Even when you tell the IBC to open the server, they'll have nothing to fear.
So
it's a dramatic process of dramatizing a free, fair, transparent, and open election. So they should not have a narrow mind in approaching this issue.
So the IBC forms, okay, finally.
Finally, as I sum up this issue of the constituencies, let them tell us which constituency which community is ready to surrender their constituency for the benefit of Kasarani constituency, for the benefit of Moya constituency where I come from, for the benefit of Ruiru constituency, we need another constituency there, which county is ready to surrender for our benefit. And surprisingly, instead of our members of parliament coming up strongly to argue those issues, and they know once the boundaries are reviewed, they'll never be reviewed again after 8 years. They are here telling us, oh, munataka mkate nusu. Who needs mkate nusu? Me, I don't need mkate nusu. I've never been in government.
But you want to tell us that is what is
Look at the substantive issue.
That is your thought.
Okay,
you don't think that is what
don't be narrow-minded. Don't be narrow-minded.
Start that
agitate the issue. Agitate the issue of representation.
Thank you,
don't be myopic.
Thank you, Akili.
We are not myopic.
You are being myopic.
Thank you.
No. Everything is at the time they want.
No. It is now the time. We are reviewing the boundaries today. We are reviewing the boundaries today, not tomorrow. It is now the time.
You are going to start
It is now the time of reviewing the boundaries.
Thank you.
We cannot mix the two.
It is now the time.
If we have a quagmire, we must deal with the quagmire. And if we have an issue to do with the review, it has to be. That's another process.
Right.
The IBC is reviewing the boundaries.
We cannot mix the two. We cannot mix the two.
Right.
No, unless we have a hidden agenda.
Definitely. These particular talks have begun, even as he talks about having another county and speaks about matters, the constitutional review. Even as they come in these particular talks, as me was saying, don't be myopic on this. Think broadly. Think about 2027. Think about 2032. What are your thoughts on this? Should we be discussing matters, the constitutional review? Because again, the buck now stomps on parliamentarians to actually change and bring bills, have these particular bills to have the constitutional review. What are your thoughts?
My friend, there are things you can't lump together. These things need to be separated and be handled separately. Like what is being discussed, the agenda before the bipartisan team. The only agenda which the president prescribed to be taken back to the bipartisan team was the agenda on the selection of the panel that will come up with the IBC team, which makes a lot of sense because an election has to be free and fair and it has to be seen to be so. And from Williams Ruto's stand, we remember in Bomas, Ruto was very clear and he said, my friend Raila Odinga, you are good at football. how fair would be a league where some teams are choosing the referee and other teams are left out in choosing the referee. And the same scenario has come back now when Ruto is the president. And Ruto has stood with his political policy that the commissioner of IEBC, the selection for commissioners of IEBC needs to be opened up so that each party who is going to an election is satisfied with the process. And that's statesmanship. That's being standing with your opinion from the beginning to the end. So there are these other things which has also been thrown into, Azimio is trying to throw into the agenda of bipartisan talks, which can't work. You can't throw the issue of lowering the cost of living into the part of the agenda of the bipartisan talks, because that is something being handled by the executive. You see, that is not the business of parliament. That's the business of the executive. We have the issue of opening the server. The only person who can give an order for servers to be opened is the Supreme Court. Then the IEBC goes ahead and opens. So what is the bipartisan team doing about opening of servers? For heaven's sake, that can't work. So we have to face the realities. Number two, I like Wakili, what he's saying. These are very important issues which we can't shove away. We have now to face them. Okay. And they are there very glaring. And these are all Kenyans. The Kenyans in Ukambani, Kenyans in Kikuyu land, Kenyans in Luo land are all Kenyans. And I want to begin from a structural way. We have two institutions here. We have the country, that is the state, and we have the government. The state is characterized for any country to be known as a state. There are things it requires. It needs a boundaries, Kenya's boundaries. It needs a standing army to protect the boundaries. Kenya has a standing army to protect these boundaries. It needs people with here Kenyans. It needs internal structures like the police to be in a position to provide enough security to its people. All those things Kenya has. Okay. Ask Wakili here from where he comes from. Ask Raila Odinga from where he comes from. Is he within the boundaries of Kenya? Yes. Is he protected by our military while in Kenya? He'll give you a yes. Is he protected by the police from where he lives? That is a yes. Is there a chief to administrate his matters in Ibondo and from Wakili's place? That is yes. So the country, the nation, the state is moving on. Where we have an issue to discuss now, it's about the government. And
do you think as someone who comes from Kitui, do you think Kitui should be divided into two counties?
Before I get there, okay. We have 47 counties. Each county is giving its equitable share properly. We have 290 constituencies. Each constituency is getting its CDF. Now we may have issues, which is factual. Like the way you find Kiambu, or let's say Nairobi, is receiving about 50 billion per year from the equitable share, and Kitui is receiving 11 billion from the equitable share. I think the same should be replicated with the CDF. Why is Nairobi getting more from the equitable share than Kitui? Because of the population and other factors. Yeah. So if there are factors in central Kenya which we should look into so that Kiambaa constituency gets more money than Kibwezi West, I think those are things now. It's time to put those things on the table and discuss them candidly as a nation. You see? So I'm in agreement with Wakili there. But there are other issues now. Wakili is talking of 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. All right. We can't just use that perimeter alone. There are other parameters we need to look into.
But at least
I have a friend of mine. Okay. I have a friend of mine who is a member of parliament in Murang'a. He has 28% primary schools.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 28 primary schools.
Okay.
Kitui East, I'm dealing with 250 primary schools.
Agitate.
Which needs to be built through the same CDF we are getting. Yes, my friend there, he has a higher population. Bursary, yes, I'm advantaged in terms of bursary because I have fewer beneficiaries of bursary. He has a higher number of beneficiaries from the bursary, but he has a lower number of schools to be built by CDF, and I have 4 times, actually 5 times, its number of schools to be built by CDF.
Okay.
Wakili, wait, please. We have to speak the facts here. So there are parameters which we have to put on the table when we are discussing this delimitation and delineation of constituencies.
I agree.
The other thing I believe in, I want to put my voice on in what Wakili is saying.
Okay.
There is we can't kill a constituency to add a constituency in another place. What we need to look into, we don't make laws to engulf ourselves. We make laws to help us navigate simply in our matters. So these laws which says we can't add more constituencies was not made by Europe, was not meant from heaven. It's us Kenyans who made the law. So we need to look into the law, and instead of saying we kill Lamu constituency so that we can divide Kiambu into 2, let's divide Kiambu into 2 and leave Lamu constituency.
I agree with what
because there are reasons why Lamu was formed in the first place.
Perfect.
Although it has a lower population. Wakili, wait.
Wakili, I'll come to you.
Wakili, you've been talking and been quiet. You know, we represent people. We don't argue cases in court the way you are doing. And you have to be very reasonable and very pragmatic.
But at least I've convinced
you have not convinced me.
To the extent that you have agreed with my preposition.
It has been my political stance.
Let him finish.
Now, I want us to look into this. Talk of the counties. There are areas already we have we have a bill in Parliament requesting for addition of 5 more counties. Mwingi being one of them, Kuria being one of them, and others, because of reasons. They have their reasons, and we have to listen to these reasons. And if they hold water, we give to them. If they don't hold water, we say, guys, we have to move the way we are moving.
Right,
because look at this. Kiambu has 1 million people. But in terms of size, Kiambu can be put into Kitui 10 times. Kitui can house Kiambu, 10 Kiambu counties, 10 Kiambus. But we have 600,000 people. They have 1 million people. But the land mass is so small compared to the land mass of Kitui.
So before dismissing this particular, we need to sit down and
all
actually
these parameters
review
have to be put on the table as we discuss this.
Right.
Lastly, on the choice of who is going to sit on the bipartisan talks, I was listening to an activist yesterday on the TV. Somebody somewhere, I think she was also drunk, and I was like, she was like, we need to be there to speak for our country in the bipartisan talks. Everyone, Kenya is led through a democracy. And in a democracy, we have what we call representative democracy. We have constituencies, we have wards. Constituencies have elected members of parliament who will come to speak to on their behalf on some issues, not all the issues. Matters making law, matters of agitation in terms of issues affecting the people, the way Wakilu is talking about the price of coffee and the rest. Then we have the executive. The executive implements the law. We have the judiciary. The judiciary, his work is to, what do you do? Is to
arbitrate.
And also, this is what I'm looking for. Define, as in explain.
Interpret.
The judiciary interprets the law. The executive enforces. The legislature constitutes, forms the law. So the issues under the bipartisan thing needs legislation, needs laws and regulations to be made. So we can't go to the judiciary and bring someone who is supposed to interpret the law to make the law.
Right.
We can't go to the executive and bring someone who is supposed to implement the law to make the law. We can't go out there and bring an activist who is just working on an NGO, who has not been employed by someone, who has not been elected by anybody, to sit somewhere and argue for the country. From what basis?
Okay.
The governors are executives in their own counties. When they say they want to come and handle legislative issues, I don't think that is a preserve of the governors. It is the MCAs now who should be given an opportunity to join the bipartisan talks because they were elected to make the laws.
Right.
Don't want to jump into what you are not meant to do because you have a voice to say I want to. What is this national dialogue? What is more national, my friend? What is more national than the National Assembly? Where we have the Wakili who comes from a constituency. He elected a member of parliament.
The member
At
has
that
taken
point,
all the time.
when he elected his member of parliament, he gave out all his...
No, I didn't.
Because of time.
I never
to legislate for him. So, Wakil, you can't go sit in parliament together with your member of parliament.
Thank you, Honorable Gakuya.
All the women from
because we're really out of time here, Honorable Mbai. Around 8 minutes from now, I want to hear a sound of reason because each and every one of you.
And I believe
you're representing. I'll wrap up with you to have a sound of reason on this. As your parting shots, come tomorrow we'll be having the second demonstrations, and as someone from the Kenya Kwanza, it is something that you're faulting, but then we should be having a sound of reason moving forward to these particular talks.
Moving forward to this particular court needs or require a commitment. This commitment has to come from both parties. We cannot expect anything much from that panel if that panel is obviously interfered from their appointees. If we make these appointees free and democratic to exercise this process, it will work. But if they will be coerced to go a certain direction, you do not see the light of the day. Because you cannot be able to be saying the whole chair that if this and this is not addressed, then they will not talk. Those conditionality must come to an end. And we must give that panel an independence so that they can be able to come into terms. Both parties should desist from interfering with the panel and leave panel to play its role independently. And I think going that way, they will reach somewhere. And this is only if the parties are serious in this particular one. If not, we cannot be able to see that today. Number two, let me support the direction that the panelist is taking. We need to separate the two. We have issues, and the issues were addressed by the BBI, but the BBI was shut down. But being shut down does not mean that was the end of the game. There is a nudge that, in fact, we decongest some of the constituencies that are totally congested and actually that cannot be able to balance. And striking that balance is to address that matter in what we call a legal framework, which is redistribution. That way, I am sure with sober mind, we can arrive there. And we can strike a route where we can give that representation as required. The element of population is a key. And to me, I agree. Every single representing people, as much as there is a geographical size, we cannot forget that the geographical size never votes. It is people who wakes up to vote for government. And those numbers should be respected, even in terms of sharing our equitable sharing or our national cake. We cannot forget we are feeding Kenyans, those people. And therefore, once we are giving or once we are putting what we call ways of sharing of the cake, we must give priority to the population as a key, the rest to follow. And this one, we must not go to the 100%, but out of the 100%, the caption of 75% must be population consideration. That one, we will give a balance to everybody. And this is the reason why we are having some constituencies who are joyriders of CDF, because they can enjoy as the equitable, that 5% that is required, a percentage from the for education kitty is exactly the equal one that I have. Suppose that that constituency has only applicants over bursary who are less than 2,000. Right. That tells you that there is a joyride where any single student there can enjoy as much as 20,000 a candidate. And therefore, that's why you realize that there are some constituencies which are pushing the parent to bring the people to school, free primary, free secondary, and free college and university. These must come to an end. We must look our way on how our students cannot be in that isolated way, where a student in Dandola can enjoy as much as that one in Njara and any other place, because they are both Kenyans and they enjoy the taxpayers' money. This taxpayers' money, we must look our way. How do we strike balance? Because those burdens, if we are not going to address them now, when? And then I'm saying the registrators have a duty to make sure that we separate the current quagmire, and then we start registrating what is aiding us, and then we can get what we call a route to get out of it.
Thank you. Your final words.
Thank you very much. And it has ended up on a very sober note that we have agreed that we have a problem in this country. And as he defined it correctly, that the state is in existence, but the government is in shambles. I agree with that, to the extent that even the state is representing the people. For one definition of a state, according to the UN Convention, is that it must have a population. And the population is the one that determines how the country will be governed, the system of governance, and all that. Now, the population of this country dictates that there are some regions, like Mount Kenya region, which have continuously been suppressed for a long time with the question of representation. I have heard him making a proposal that if we increase the CDF for CDF for Ruiru, we'll have sorted the issues of Ruiru. Our issue is not about money. Our issue is not about allocation of the finances. Our issue is about, we want our people to be equally represented. Representation comes with a lot of a back of things. Even the question of legislation arises from representation. There are some legislations we would wish to push that matters to us as people from Mount Kenya region, but because of our number, we are suppressed. For example, we would wish to push a legislation on coffee. We would wish to push a legislation on tea, potatoes, milk, pyrethrum, and all those. But because of our number, we are suppressed.
Would you agree accountability plays a key role in even the legislations?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what we are simply saying is, instead of Mount Kenya region leaders fighting each other, going for each other's neck, trying to demean each other, let us gather together, let us all come together, and we ask ourselves, now that we are having a boundary review, what are we saying? For example, I'm expecting the Mount Kenya region
I'm really out of time, briefly.
I'm expecting the Mount Kenya leaders to do this, to identify the constituencies that are below the population quota. They target them individually. They say, we want constituency X, Y, Z to be ward up, and those constituencies be brought to Mount Kenya. So that then those other constituencies, we will hear their reaction. When we hear their reaction in terms of them opposing, then we'll ask ourselves, nyinyi mmekataa na zenu, na sisi tunasema tuongezewe, na mmekataa kutuongezea. How do we resolve that issue? So I commend Mheshimiwa Kionjuri, I commend Mheshimiwa Modhani wa Gashomba, wa Mushomba, and I ask the rest, instead of becoming like a tick that is just clinging on a cow, on a carcass that is dead, to wake up and realize that we have a problem in Mount Kenya region that needs to be resolved. And it will not be resolved by going for each other's neck. It will be resolved by us coming together and sobering up.
Thank you, Wakili. Your final words.
I like Wakili. He's a good student. I wish I had more time with him. I think we'll get somewhere. One of the things which has come out very clearly is the issue of representation and share of the national cake. And that can only be cured through being worked on. It has to be placed on the table and people discuss it soberly. And one of the things I need to put through is the parameters to arrive into solving the issues are not one. Yeah? Because the representation is an issue, the monies are an issue, the population is an issue, the geographical landmass is an issue.
Right.
Like, as I said, I have 253 schools.
Yeah.
And this needs to be built through CDF.
Right.
Another friend of mine has 28, but he has more population, 3 times the population of Kitui East. So how do we balance that until every part of the country is balanced? There is a point he put through that I would want to correct, that is only one community which is being which is being given positions in the government. I think as we speak, that is false. Because one of the communities.
I'm pretty sure that is a whole other conversation that.
Let me finish, because he said it. That is false.
Like 30 seconds.
Yes, that is false because if there's one community which has more representation in senior positions in the government, is this community.
Which community?
The Kikuyu community,
Mount
Kenya community. For the first time, the Kamba community, we feel we are represented in the government. The last government, we had one minister who is also married in Muranga. As in, and when our daughter is married, she is no longer our daughter. Now, we have 2 ministers, 3 assistant ministers, 4 PSs, and several directors. The commander-in-chief of the defense in the military is a Luo. For the first time, a Luo has never occupied that position.
But it's not a favor.
Thank you.
Because of William Ruto,
I really have to wrap it up.
Pragmatism.
Thank you, Honorable.
Those are military
Honorable
rebels.
Nimrod Mbai.
This guy would have been retired and Mwangi come up.
It was not a favor.
Thank you very much.
That's not a favor that was done.
Thank you very much,
It was rightfully
gentlemen.
given to him.
Honorable Nimrod Mbai, Member of Parliament for
deserved it.
Kitui East. Thank you, Wakili and Ndego Njiro, constitutional lawyer, and Honorable James Gakuya, Member of Parliament for Embakasi North. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. It was quite a heated discussion, speaking of matters, coffee matters, the bipartisan talks, and now constitutional reviews and delimitations of the borders. Thank you, gentlemen, again for your time, and dear viewer, for chiming in for your feedback. My name is Stanley Nyerungita. Have yourself a wonderful Wednesday on behalf of the entire production that made this production possible. And because it's a Wednesday, your weekly dose of Tasty Wednesday. On the other side of this particular short break, we'll be giving you some tips of how to cook better. Goodbye.
Asifiwe.
Praise God.
This is Sifa Sunday Plus right here at TV47.
Wakati mwingine kama weekend, mimi najiachilia.
Hata ukumbuki history.
Nikifika watu wangu wakinipokea na kupokeleka.
Umeset the mood.
Nimeset the mood. Naweza kupokeleka. Nikitumai kwamba mzima popote pale ulipo, nikikukaribisha katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutuku. Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea siku nyingine. Tutapatana papa hapa umjue kiongozi mwingine.
Jiunge nasi toka hapa hadi ufuoni mwa bahari. Meli yetu itakapotua nanga kwa uhondo ribo ya riwaya hii mwisho wa kosa. Monica.
It's early morning in Maralal. Start your morning informed, educated, entertained, and above all, know your country. From the beautiful plains of Samburu County to the skyscrapers of Nairobi, Morning Cafe certainly got you covered. Indeed, a beautiful place to watch and certainly a moment of understanding and knowing your country. Indeed, to the remotest parts of every county.
Join me, Linda Alela, every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
The diversity of Kenya's wildlife has garnered international fame.
This is pellets that we give to the tourists, the giraffes. We ration because we don't want the giraffes to eat too much of this. We want them to have more of the natural browse.
We may not always get the opportunity to go out to see the wildlife, but you'll never miss the opportunity to see it from the comfort of your couch.
This is home to animals that have been found out there either injured, abandoned, or confiscated from people who are holding them illegally.
Only on TV 47 Wildlife, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m.
Disability is a club that anyone can join.
I live with special needs. It means I have a limitation. There are things I can't be able to do personally myself.
And in our journey to talk about disability, we tell the stories of those with disabilities.
It's going to be an interesting show, right? So we are getting into the world of seafood on Tasty Wednesday today. A little bit different. We just get to know what is in this world of seafoods. Just what exactly are seafoods? I'm sure you would love to get into this. Perhaps you'd be saying, well, maybe I do not want to learn so much about this because you rarely make seafoods at home. It depends from where it is that you come from. But I think it is necessary that you also just get to have some tips on this, the basic seafoods, you know. And I guess that's what we'll be teaching you this morning. Just so when you're at home and you're thinking food and, well, not fish, but seafood, then at least you have an idea of, you know, one amazing seafood that you can prepare for your guests, for your family, a little bit of a different tweak to it. So karibu sana on Morning Cafe, and that is Tasty Wednesday. And like I have said, we are at the Civilians. Yes, and joining me for this conversation, or I am joining Samuel because we are at his place to learn some more about seafoods and perhaps just get to see what he prepares for us this morning. How are you?
Very well, Linda. How are you today?
I'm good. Kabisa, kabisa.
Thank you so much. This is Chef Samuel here. Welcome to Civilian Seafood. We have the best to offer seafood in the town. So I bet we should get down and try something new.
Can we tell them how civilian is spelled so that when they're moving around this place that we are at, where are we?
All right. Civilian Seafood is located at Kikau Place, opposite Quickmart Lavington along Gitanga Road, close to Valley Arcade.
So don't go around looking for civilian.
The normal common one.
No, the common one ain't civilian. Please go look for C. And then
the villains.
All right, so what do we have today?
So today we're going to do a couple of seafood, maybe 4 seafood items. We are going to try some octopus, some prawns, some calamari, squid, and then we have the right snapper.
All right, so I've been running away from taking octopus, but I guess leo imepatikana. I'm told it's for the men, but we are here, and so we're going to enjoy that. Calamari, my all-time favorite. Red snapper, I love. And
ingine ni prawns.
Prawns, my favorite. So I think leo I am sorted, and I'm looking forward to learn. We have 4 different seafoods, so that means we are going to be making them very fast.
As slow as possible.
But then again, it looks like they cook very fast.
Yeah, they cook very fast. This food takes around 15 to 20 minutes to prepare. So maybe take some 5 to 10 minutes of marinade as we explain and continue. Then preparing just all pancia except the octopus that will give it a deep fry. Then finish it in a sweet and sour sauce.
You know, most people love prawns because they're the basic.
Because that is what they're used to.
They're used to, but they don't know how to make. So I'm excited to learn as well. Here we are.
Some more.
Yes. All right, so we hit the kitchen?
Yeah, sure. Let me hit the pans.
Yes.
Let me hit the pans up and running.
Okay.
All right. So before we hit to the seafoods, we'll hit the pans up and running.
That is very important. That is an important procedure.
It's a very important. The first procedure actually.
Okay.
Because when you marinate seafood, you don't take too long. because they'll be over marinated.
So
it
this
takes
is not the kind that you do overnight.
No. That you need red meat and have some maybe like chicken or something, other white meats. But for seafood, maybe 5-10 minutes.
And you're good. And the marination sinks in.
The marination sinks in pretty well. You just need a coating. These are very flat taste. You just taste salt.
Okay.
So the way you blend it, you marinate it. Now that's what gives you the flavor.
All right.
That is why you can find two chefs like me and Linda here, but mine will taste better, I'm sure. I bet you that.
You'll be surprised, eh?
I'm waiting to see.
Really surprised. Therefore, what I make, he will taste, and what he makes, I will taste, and then we're going to taste them together. We make ajitestie. What I've made, I'll taste, and then we will conclude. Let's see.
All right, so we'll just mix our prawns and calamari together.
Okay.
Yeah, because
normally
they
served,
cook,
normally
they're served together, so there's no need of making different plates.
Okay.
So we have our marinade here. We have some ginger.
Wait a minute. I think we need marinade.
Marinade.
Don't even say some marinade.
No. So we have a blend of ginger, paprika, garlic, some lemon juice, and a little bit of dark soy.
Oh, that's good. And we're going to talk about lemon juice and seafood.
Seafood, yeah. It goes really a long way. So we'll just pour it in there a little bit. Give it a nice mix.
I hope you've gotten the marinades or the stuff that we've used.
What is ingredients we've used inside here.
Yeah. And then especially with this, you don't just put any kind of ingredient that you know.
No.
You want to put beef masala.
Inaweza kuharibikia.
Kama hiyo Linda anaweza pika. Yeah, and you speak of kuharibikia. I am told that seafood is.
Yeah, seafood. When it's not well stored and properly prepared, it's highly food poisonous and very contagious.
Yes.
So it needs for the deshelled ones, you need barely like 2 to 3 days.
And you've consumed it.
Yeah, and you consume it. If you keep it longer or well frozen under maybe past negative 40 degrees, so that it's really frozen and well kept and airtight.
Okay.
So that no germs or contamination can go in anytime.
Okay.
So we'll just marinate that and put it aside.
Yeah.
And then we basically use the same marinade because it's seafood, the same marinade for the prawns and calamari.
Okay.
And then we'll use the same marinade for the red snapper.
All
so
right.
it can help reduce that heat kidogo.
They should be eaten.
Yeah, it's getting. Yeah, just close it a little bit on the other side, just a little bit.
Okay, there you go, right?
That's better.
That's better.
So that it doesn't overheat, yeah?
That is okay.
Yeah, that is okay.
That's fine, all right.
So then we'll put our snapper here.
Yeah. So with seafood, you can always mix any of them. Like
yes.
Use
No problem.
Use the same board, chopping board, and all that.
Except for the shellfish, like the lobsters, the crabs, they have different flavors, unlike the prawns and calamari. So we'll just rub in our marinade really slowly. It's really good, buddy. It's really good.
Red snapper.
My pants are almost happy because they can feel the taste. The really
that's kitchen language.
I'm telling you, you love it.
Enjoy,
if the pan isn't happy,
then you're not happy.
Nice. You're not happy.
I agree. That one, I agree.
So we'll just rub in our marinade really slowly to make it sink in.
Yeah. So
and then you don't need a very strong taste because the taste of the seafood will.
Or in itself is quite strong.
It's a quiet taste altogether. So we'll just rub it in like that.
There you go.
And keep it ready.
Okay.
Yes.
5 minutes as well.
Yeah, give it some 5 minutes. Then maybe you can oil our pan.
Oh, we're not marinating the octopus?
No, the octopus is when we take it, when we prepare it, when it's really fresh, we just remove the eyes and the intestines. Then we heat it hard to become soft because of the tendons. Yeah?
Okay.
Then we boil it in hot water and salt. Yeah. That is all. That is all.
Okay. All right.
It has its own pure taste. You've had the soup ya pweza?
My goodness.
We'll talk about that.
Think about that and taste it as well.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I've been running away from me for the longest time, man, you know.
Man, you've missed a lot. You've missed a lot.
Man, I don't know.
How have you maintained to grow healthy without having some good seafood, man?
I am now beginning. I think I'll become healthier from tomorrow, from today. Or perhaps I'll always be coming here for this.
Make those orders coming. Make those orders coming.
I know.
So we just oil our pan.
So there are different ways of preparing seafood?
There are so many ways of preparing seafood. We have something that most of our Nairobians are skeptical about is the boiled seafood. So you can boil when they hear they like chemsha, they're like, no, it's a yak.
And it's yak.
No, it's something very interesting.
I am not
so you
looking
can
forward
boil
to
your
that.
seafood, you can pan-sear it, you can grill it, you can deep fry it, you can just play along with it, and you can eat it raw.
Now
there's one called
chemsha and raw.
It's a nice piece. There's a salad called ceviche, the low seafood flakes. Blend it with a little lettuce and salad.
Yeah.
You love it.
But anyway, I think it's perhaps the healthiest amongst the meats that you would have.
But it has restrictions, maybe small children or maybe expectant mothers. That is very important. So what I really adore about seafood, it has category and it's really good for the body. You find like the crustaceans like prawns, lobsters, those are very nice for expectant mothers. And then we have ones like salmon, because they have omega-3 acids.
Yes.
Like you find the steak, I wish we had that today, but it's out of stock now. We have the rock cod.
You want us to come back again?
That is why I said it.
Thank you.
We have the raw cod, like where the cod liver oil comes from, the one that's good for children.
It says cod liver oil.
So when the expectant mothers have it, it's already, the children already have it in their immune. So when they come out really strong and very healthy.
Very, very important. The calcium aspect of it also equally very important.
So they vary in different nutritive values, but they're all good. Across the board, good for your immune, good for inflammation, reduce joint and reduce. That's why our brothers from Kisumu have really.
Are you from there?
Low cardiac arrest issues, no vascular issues.
Why does it sound like you're speaking for them? But
they take a lot of fish.
They are brains. They are sharp. I'm told that in the country you look for brains.
I'm already here.
Clearly. I don't think I've ever met. And I'm sorry to all the chefs that I have dealt with. Please, no offense. I have never met one that sounds as bright as this one. But we established that as to us.
We'll talk about it towards the end of the session.
Okay, yes, all right.
So first, I didn't introduce you to our menu. Today, I'm going to serve you. We'll start with our famous mango salad. So I wanted to give it. Seafood is like a sweet and sour
kind of feeling.
So when we have mango blending in it,
feel that kandimu
chachu kidogo.
Yes,
it's really good. Then we borrowed the tamarind sauce from the coast.
Yes, then that also has a chachu.
That also has a chachu.
Exactly that.
Yes. And then we are going to give you sweet and sour octopus. And then I'll give you oyster sauce with prawns and calamari. And then I'll give you garlic red snapper.
I'm looking forward to that. Looks like this one
so
doesn't want us to come back again.
And then with her, it's how do we call it?
Potato wedges?
Yeah, the potato wedges.
I can see the potatoes there.
They're made in sweet chili, something you'll never find in Nairobi. So I bet.
Apart from
civilian seafood only. So you have the best seafood and the best accompaniments of the house.
And you know the best thing about this whole show is that eventually you'll get to taste. And I'm very real. Me, come see tamu, you know, I'll just tell you it's not tamu. And that is on live TV. And you can imagine the damage it will.
No. I want to disappoint.
Okay,
that's what my mama taught me. Never disappoint.
I need to meet your mama.
More so when you're live.
I need to meet your mama.
So here we are going to do some flambe of prawns and calamari.
Oh, flambe is my favorite.
So you never miss. If you don't know how to do a flambe, you're not a chef yet.
No.
So you just
and every time I get into the kitchen with a chef and they don't do flambe,
that is
I get
pride.
disappointed.
That is our pride.
Okay, so here we go.
Here we go. You ready?
Ready?
Please don't run. Don't run on your heels.
Okay.
Oh,
beautiful.
Let's do it.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Scrub it all out. Then you spread it across the pan.
Okay.
And then lower that heat a little bit.
And you said this one like in 5-10 minutes we're good.
This 5-10-15 minutes you're good.
Cooked.
Yeah,
good.
It's well cooked. So then we can place our snapper here slowly. I don't know whether I'll get a flambe, but let us try.
This one, no.
This one, no.
This one, no.
You just place it gently.
Yeah. In another world, or in the other world, I've been a chef, buena.
Really?
So I know that one cannot give us a flambe.
What's your favorite dish you cook?
Ugali.
Or hot water? Boiled eggs.
Oh, boiled eggs I love. I'll not lie to you.
You do?
Sana.
Our seafood boilers boiled eggs. It's something, but I fear you eat the eggs more than the seafood. So we'll pass. We'll pass
that one
we'll pass.
Some other time, eh?
Today we'll pass.
That's fair enough. I think what we have
so
in the
just,
menu is good enough.
Yeah.
What do they say? On the menu or in the menu?
On the menu.
On the menu.
On the menu.
Okay. Kizungu pia, my friend, not my cup of tea. Let me not speak for you.
I can borrow yours a little bit.
Oh.
That's good.
Sounds good.
So we'll let it sear kidogo, the other side, then turn it gently, slowly. But we don't do it like omena the way you...
Omena lazima ufanye haraka ichungue.
I'm telling you.
Utasikia hapo kuna ile mbaya na itakuwa kalikali.
Yes.
Deep frying this would work?
Deep frying this unless you coat it because it will be too crunchy or chewy. So unless you give it a nice coat, because seafood should take the longest time to cook. When it takes longer,
the better.
Yes, when the heat, when it takes longer, it becomes even more rubbery.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So with high heat and minimal time possible.
Good.
And then because it's flat, now you need to start with a nice blend of marinade and give it a nice finished blend grease. When we get there, I'll show you our secret of this kitchen. What makes a difference away from...
Please do not, please don't give us your secret, because one, we are going to start restaurants.
You may not cover.
We will start our own civilian somewhere else. So
with a C, not with a C.
Yes, with a C. No, with a C. It has to be with a C. It starts with a C. That is why it's seafood, So yes, my people, we are at the civilian. You call it restaurant or you call it what?
Yes, it's a seafood restaurant.
Seafood restaurant. Very, very important. Right here in Nairobi. Hapa ni Butanga Road, sio?
Yes.
This is pretty much Butanga Road, yeah?
Butanga Road.
Okay. And so these ones don't burn?
No, they don't. But you have to control your heat.
I see this one is not using lots of heat. This one is.
This one is.
Okay.
This one isn't. Because you just need a nice coating, then you let it sear so that the spices can blend in. So long as the crust is brown, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you people do only seafood?
Yes. We'll wish to expand one day, but for now, we do purely seafood.
How's it like, market-wise? People accepting and appreciating it?
First, they're very skeptical about it.
Yeah.
You'll need a lot of convincing. My waiters are working really hard to convince clients to come and try. Yeah. But what normally we start them off with is the soup ya pweza. That is something they know, whether it's a myth or
so the excitement of trying to
pweza,
they find themselves trying that.
So they try, they find it's nice, it's something I would try. So maybe one or two you throw in a few prawns or calamari. Tell me, you try this. And it's very affordable.
Yeah.
Unlike other seafoods, they are very affordable in the market.
Nice.
And the seafood is very fresh. Right. We transport them from coast.
Oh yeah? Like
once or twice a week, depending on the scales, but at most twice.
Okay.
Because it's something that is flowing. And then we get something, we have known whatever we use for a whole week. So we get something that we can accommodate. So that it doesn't take long to go bad.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But so far it's working for us. We've had the least minimal cases of food poisoning. I cannot say we haven't had, but one was being allergic, maybe an ingredient or something, or an allergy. So with that, if you don't talk to now it needs a one-on-one interaction with the client.
With the client. Every time they show in, like someone walks in at you,
yes,
you have to
tell
do
them,
one-on-one.
are you allergic to anything?
Okay.
Yes, so you have a know-how. Before you prepare something, you have a know-how. Maybe allergic to garlic or ginger or the seafood itself. Okay. So you must have a know-how of how to go about it.
I have no allergies.
You look like a foodie.
I am a seafoodie.
I'm glad. And the best part is when somebody takes it and appreciates.
I know.
It's fulfilling.
You should have asked me how I knew of this place. It was a friend. It was actually two of them. And they recommended that you come and dine and you're like, this one I want to share with the viewers. Very
Normally, word of mouth really spreads. And the
TV47, the home of untold stories.
Radio 47 tuko nawe mchana kutwa na usiku kucha. 92.1 Nakuru. Hapa ndipo.
Welcome to the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center, the premier events venue. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed to meet all your needs, from large-scale conferences to intimate meetings and everything in between. Located in the heart of Thika, the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center offers stunning views of the city skyline and is easily accessible from all major transportation hubs. Our facility features ample parking, free Wi-Fi, advanced audiovisual equipment, and our technical team is always on hand to ensure your event runs smoothly and seamlessly. Don't take our word for it. Make your next event unforgettable at the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center. Contact us today for bookings and reservations. Email multimedia@mku.ac.ke or call us on 0708 212204 or 0727 441733 or 0721 438 629 to learn more about our services and book your event. Welcome to Nyali Golf View Residence, where a luxurious accommodation is inspired by the Indian Ocean. This exclusive residential community offers the ultimate in coastal living along Links Road, Nyali, near Mamba Roundabout. With breathtaking views of the golf course, ocean, and landscaped gardens, every moment spent in your home is an experience of tranquility, comfort, and luxury. Every detail of your spacious, fully furnished apartment has been designed with your comfort and style in mind, with open-plan living spaces, high ceilings, and elegant finishes that exude sophistication and relaxation. Experience resort-style living with a wide range of amenities, including a state-of-the-art fitness center, swimming pool, children's playground, 24-hour security, and concierge services. Experience the ultimate in luxury living and golfing at Nyali Golf View. Contact us today to schedule a visit and discover the lifestyle of your dreams. Nyali Golf View Residence, luxurious accommodations inspired by the Indian Ocean.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Internet, I'm so glad you came.
You know?
So back to what you were asking. How did you know about us?
Exactly, my friends told me.
Your
and
friends?
were like, you know what, you should try this place. You see, that place.
They've dined with us already?
Yeah.
Ah, that's nice.
Yes. I mean, when your friends tell you you have to be there, sometimes they don't even allow you time to take yourself. They're like, you know what, tomorrow we're doing lunch there, and that's it. Then you know when you taste it, you're like, this one I have to share with the people who are watching me. I mean, my everyday fans, and that's the reason why we're here.
So
it clearly tells you that you're doing a good job.
Thank you so much. It's highly appreciated. So this one, if I do it more than here, it will be rubbery.
Okay.
It will have surpassed. So the people who understand seafood,
yes,
they'll know this one was overcooked.
You can chew and chew and you can feel it the way
you can feel it the way it was made. So I'm just gonna keep it aside.
Okay. So that is like as good as that.
Yeah, that is as good as this one. I'll just let it sear there gently. So for my accompaniment, I'll just put in some oil a little bit.
Yeah.
Then deep fry my potatoes, and then potatoes and the octopus, sorry.
Together?
Yes. No, not together. Together.
First the potatoes and then
the octopus, then the
So now the deep fry bit comes in.
Yes.
So I walked in here and the millions and millions, you do almost all the seafood for as long as you...
So far we are new to the market. We cannot capture everybody, but we just want to give them an introduction, show them what we can do, so that when we add a little bit of more seafood, they already know these people do these things like this. This is how it is done. So for now we are doing prawns, we're doing calamari, and then we are doing octopus, we are doing fish steaks, maybe kingfish, tuna, we have salmon as well. Then we have the red snapper, what we are doing today. And then we have mussels, then we have crabs, and then we have crawfish. Crawfish is not from the ocean, it's not basically seafood, but it's salty lake and freshwater lake. So it's a salty lake fish from normally from Naivasha, but it can also be reared on the pond. Yes, so that one we normally use it for the seafood boil. I bet next time when you come we should try.
I'm looking forward to that.
You will love it.
So,
you will love it.
Like I walk in here, and how many minutes I have my food ready?
When you walk in here, you make your order, you should be first welcome. I wish we could give you a juice, but due to the economy, we cannot. But we just...
Oh, now this is now for the clients.
This is now
but if they want, we sell them.
We can offer. We can offer. So offer you a seat and the menu. Some come in already, they already have what they want to order in mind. So we just go there and just
straight
want
to
this.
eat.
I don't even want to look at the menu, just want this straight away. So we prepare that. So for the pancia, it takes roughly like 15 to 20 minutes. For the boil, it will go for around 20 to 30 minutes because it is boiled. It should be well boiled and it's taken wholesome. And most people tend to love that more than this because they feel a lot of oil or a lot of butter or whatever you, but that one is so pure.
Alright.
So that should be all. So this one, on the finishing, as I was saying, for the steak, we'll just give it a rubber. This is oyster sauce and lemon. We just didn't want to give it a flat lemon. Lemon sometimes it cannot be sour, it can be bitter. So we blended some lemon with oyster sauce.
So is it true that lemon comes in handy to reduce the...
Yes. First it's for the aftertaste. No, normally it's the aftertaste. Smell. So it's for the aftertaste. Yes, it's for the aftertaste.
Quite annoying.
And give you the sweet and sour flavor. Yes. So you just rub that on the steaks.
And then you
turn it over.
Look at that.
They look real good.
I am looking forward to.
Will I have a chance to dine with you guys? It's not easy to find a chef in yours, so maybe I'll have a bite of yours.
Will you?
I'm sorry.
Why not?
I'm sorry.
Why not? And I always fight with chefs because of that.
Why?
And sometimes I have to lie to them,
These niggas...
So then at that point, they have no choice but to...
I
know, but why? Why is it so? But even at home...
It's like going home and then...
So.
Because sometimes we go home and mama is like, you're a chef, why don't you cook for... I'm telling her, sitakula,
chakula. That's the sad thing.
I'm home to eat.
I think I agree. And you enjoy food at home?
I enjoy food at home.
But don't do it to...
No, it's so natural.
It's so real.
It's so real.
I understand that.
Umetoka kwa kwanza wewe unatumwa kwa kisiagi wa kwanza.
Mrego. You know, as you grow old also, you tend to love your mrego. I don't know, but when you're young, mrego kidogo.
Iko kwa GMO, iko corrupted.
You know? So here we are.
Yes, here we are. So these are our potato wedges.
Normally you have like the accompaniment?
Yes, we have a variety.
Okay.
We have plantain.
Ah, nice.
We have fried rice, maybe vegetable, plain rice, or egg fried rice. And then we have our fries. And then we have the assorted vegetables. And then we have onion rings. So whatever you lose to have your seafood with, it's available.
Your calamari and onion rings, amazing.
Yeah.
Anytime.
We just fry our oil. It should be good at that temperature.
But hatujaweka moto mingi to reduce?
Yes.
Oh, that's okay.
No,
I think we should reduce it. Yeah. That's good. This as well, pre-boiled kidogo.
Yes, with turmeric and salt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lakini mbona unaweka moja moja? Si uweke hiyo kitu tu mara moja.
Watu lazima wa.
Okay, fine.
Unaweza weka mara moja ya mafuta iturukie. So you also have to be careful. Away from cooking, there's some precautions you have to take.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
And you normally tend to put, whatever you're putting in a deep fry, you tend to put it away from you. So if you put it the other side, the oil will spill on you.
Yeah,
so there's a few precautions you should take when using a deep fryer. Yes, you should.
Okay. I don't know why I feel like tumeshamaliza kupika. Hii chakula hata ishaiva.
Hii? Pole pole.
Yeah, that's true. Look at that.
So in the kitchen, you should also learn to multitask.
Yeah.
Whoever said men don't multitask, I don't know where they came from.
But don't you agree to a large extent?
Sorry?
Don't you agree?
Yes.
That you don't know how to multitask?
Yes, we don't know, but we are trying.
You see, if it was me who was preparing this, I think you're going to limaliza kitambo.
Wewe ungeshamaliza hata sasa. Watu wangekuwa wananao.
Yeah, you know. But it's a beautiful thing to have men, and most of the chefs around are men. And today, I'm sorry, women, when I march into a restaurant, I really want to I just wish and hope that someone whispers to me that food has been prepared by a man. Because even if it is not sweet, there's just something about it. There's just something about it. Ikipikwa na dem, utaanza kutoa makosa hazina maana. You know?
So I think we are going to.
There's something that you need?
No, I'm good. I just want to make a, how do we call it? A sauce for a dressing for our salad.
Okay.
So we make it in a really special way.
All right.
It's sweet and sour as well.
Okay.
So you'll have a blend of some vinegar.
So it's always important to have a combination of all this.
Yes,
all through.
yes.
So if you're doing sweet and sour,
so
anything that comes along
with
the seafood.
So the best we can, the other sauces that can come with this is like the tartar sauce.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, tartar sauce is always my favorite.
Then we have garlic butter.
Okay.
We have lemon butter. But normally garlic butter, it has to have a little bit of lemon. It's not as plain as it sounds.
Okay.
Yes. So it's like an all-inclusive. You have a starter, some salad, and you have the main dish, some sauce. At least it's all blended in together. So Linda, our potatoes should be as crispy as possible, but the inside should be soft because they were pre-boiled.
Yeah. And clean, for that matter. Because sometimes this really looks good.
Thank you. And the color is attractive.
Yeah.
So in food, we have different aspects. We have the cooking, we have the color, we have the texture, we have the preparation.
Yes.
It all comes from the receiving.
Yes.
So you must master the hazard procedures, hazard critical control points, what have you.
Important.
Then on storage, the FIFO, fast in, fast out. So you don't like, you brought something in last month, you've made two stocks and it's still there.
Yes.
So you remove the first ones you had, keeping the fresh ones below, then take out the, eating the last one, the latter receiving.
Yeah. That's nice.
So for storage, for seafood, you can do maybe 2 to 3 days, but well vacuumed and frozen, to maintain the freshness.
Okay. So this one you had already boiled with some bit of seasoning, salt.
Yeah, this one is you can have it this way, and or you can do it in the finishing. I was telling you about the sweet and sweet chili sauce.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So I'll just place it here. to
So
drain the oil.
the oil, yeah.
Yes, yes. So that we don't have excess oil in our food.
And basically, you also are supposed to be keen on the nutritional value, like you said, the aspects of it. Very, very.
It's very, very important.
Yeah. So there goes the octopus.
Yes, we'll deep fry our octopus. So this one was pre-boiled.
Okay.
In salt as well. Yeah, it depends. Octopus, they're in different sizes. There are the large ones, the small ones, the medium ones. Yeah, but the smaller ones tend to be too sweet than the large ones.
I think that's what people, but
Yes.
and I think it cuts across.
It
all
cuts
forms of
across,
food, eh?
yeah.
Hata mahindi when it's softer,
the softer
it's sweeter.
it is, the sweeter it is.
So mostly when you're ordering, you because we're gonna get their preferences. Kuna ule mtu labda they prefer the tough ones, labda ile the sweeter ones. Kuna mtu anataka ile ni kidogo bano and all that. So it depends as well when ordering.
Yeah. You have the maybe small to medium because somebody will tell you, do I get the whole octopus?
Okay.
So if you have the large ones, one will only get the tendons because they're portioned. However much you wanna make your class enjoy, but it's also business.
There has to be business. There has to be some level
so
of
the
portioning.
proper portioning. Yes. So we are going to dress our salad.
All right.
Maybe I'll just move this one aside. So we'll have our vinegar here.
Yeah. It should be on this. This one takes like how long?
Maybe 2 to 3 minutes.
And it's done, eh?
Yeah, because we only want the crust to be crispy. When that is good, it's all good. That's good? Okay.
Tuendelee?
Yeah.
So we're on, okay. So that's vinegar, sugar?
Yeah, that's vinegar. You can use vinegar or sugar or vinegar
honey?
and honey or vinegar and brown sugar.
Okay.
However healthier your clients want it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I'll just remove this one from the heat and strain it here. And place it here as it drains some oil.
So we'd say this is more of a platter which you serve here?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
in our menu, we have different kinds of platters. Let me just drain this oil here to reserve it because I want to use this pan.
Okay.
So in our menu, we have different kinds of platters.
Okay.
We have a platter that has 2 seafoods. I'll take back the prawns and calamari for finishing. Let it
Okay.
preheat a little bit.
All right.
So we have different kinds of platters. We have a platter that contains 2 seafoods, like prawns and calamari or prawns and steak. That goes for around $14.50. The prices are very fair.
Okay.
Then we have the one that contains 3 seafoods, like here prawns, calamari, and a piece of fish steak, 2,800. And then we have the one with 4 seafoods, like the one we are preparing now. So this is like all inclusive. You can have, I can just put this one down here. Sorry. You can just put it here. So we have the one like preparing here for you guys, like 4 seafoods. You have prawns, calamari. You have some octopus, and then you have some fish steak.
Right.
You have an accompaniment, a sauce, and a salad. That is like 5,000.
And the portions are good, yeah.
It's good. It serves like 2 to 3 people. With that budget, it's very fair.
Good.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna rub in our oyster with lemon here.
All right.
To give it the last taste of the seafood. So we tend to use oyster because we're trying to blend everything into seafood. Yes. You want to use maybe Royco, Walt, or whatever you know. We want to make it as seafoody as possible. Is that something like that? We can use it.
Seafood, we are allowed.
Use it. All right.
We are forgiven for that.
Okay. Maybe the steak dried up, you can apply a little bit there.
So this one's the people tend to eat raw.
What people tend to eat, like the sushi. So there's maybe salmon, and then there's kole. So that the fish that people tend to eat.
You don't do them here?
Yeah, we do.
You do, eh?
We have a kole salad.
All right.
So just tie in this one. Oh, I was forgetting about a little bit of black pepper.
Okay. So there's sugar, vinegar, black pepper.
Yes. So you can use maybe lemon, so long as they're sweet and sour. Maybe lemon, or if you don't have lemon, you can use vinegar. If you don't have vinegar, you have lemon.
You kawaida vinegar or because there's that apple cider? No?
You can use apple cider as well. Actually,
it gives you the
well. Yeah, it does. So I'm just gonna test that to feel.
This is now what you hear when they. This is basically pishibora uonja.
That is good.
You know?
That is good. So we take our prepared salad from the fridge.
No salt, yeah?
No salt.
No salt.
No salt.
I'm a lover of salt. That's why I'm asking.
I bet you'll find one by the table.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe then I'll change my gloves because I don't want to mix seafood with
the salad?
Fresh cut salad.
But if they're going to be consumed together?
No, you can bring contamination. This is eaten raw. This is not cooked whatsoever, but that is cooked.
Okay.
So there can be that contamination effect.
And yes, I think we have walked you through this step by step, but it's basically something that one can prepare very fast.
Yes.
Very fast in the morning. You have some nice brunch when you're back at home. And I think the whole idea is for you to learn, for me to
maybe
eat.
Some tongs here.
Yeah.
All right. So just dip it in here.
Okay. There you go.
Mix it well with the salad. So
the vitamins, the carbohydrates, and the proteins, very important.
So because this is served cold, I believe this is what we can start with. Then we'll serve the rest.
Of now, when you are
in terms of plating and service,
okay.
So we can start with the salad somewhere here.
Look at that already. I am salivating.
So in the salad you have mango, you have the bell peppers, you have some lettuce, and white or red onions is fair.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So the mango is like ripe mango, or?
Yes, the mango is it can be ripe, it can be sweet
somewhere
and sour.
In there,
yeah, somewhere in between.
Sweet and sour taste, yeah?
Yes. Then we can just add in a little bit sauce.
Okay.
You see our plates were made well enough to give you where you can put whatever you want to put.
This is good. And enough for that matter.
And enough for that matter. I'm doing my octopus last because it's the one that it's already cooked. I just want to finish it in the oyster sauce, then plate it.
The octopus?
The octopus,
okay.
Yes. It doesn't take much time. So because this one is being served, cooked or served together, I just place it all here.
Okay.
Yeah, it also gives me some time to interact with my class and start explaining them what is this one in between the calamari. So I tell you, remove the first prawn and the other is calamari. Yes. And it is also important because everybody makes mistakes. Even if the food is not appealing as it should be, but at least you have an interaction with the client.
With the client.
Yes.
That
so
is true.
You'll get a direct feedback immediately or after, so you'll know where to grow from there or whatever you need to change.
That's the beauty of the business. Then,
yes.
Like I said, this is where we're headed with time, and most of the docs or the medics will even, prescribe. They'll probably recommend that you do lots of seafoods, and sometimes you tend to think that they're not so good, but it is in how you prepare them and understanding the whole affair. Sometimes it looks like it's foreign food to us, but I guess this is basically that stuff that is readily available at home.
Yeah.
And so we should take the best of
It's the easiest and the best way to prepare seafood.
Yeah.
And it's something you love. It doesn't need much of your time. No too much marinade. So it's something you can easily prepare yourself when you're alone or when you're with a family. Because like this platter, when you're a family of maybe 3 or 4,
it's good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough.
You just enjoy it with your nice drink. This one you serve with what kind of wine? Wine, yeah?
You can go best with white wine.
Yeah?
Yes. But if you have a red wine lover,
please
there's no restrictions. Do you kindly?
That's really important. It's you just do what it is that makes you happy. Remember, this is at the Civilian. Sometimes we keep saying that you do not have time to prepare all this. You don't even know where you're going to get the best of your prawns and all that. So why don't you just spend some time over lunch hour and come and see what it is that Sam does?
Yes. Karibu sana.
Look at that.
So that's our steak.
Oh, the aroma, my people.
So whatever we are remaining with is our potatoes right here.
Don't try that at home. You
I don't want to.
You will
I
lose
don't have
everything.
casualties.
I know. Plus now the food, the asara that comes along with that. Look at this. Don't you really want to have this?
So this is what we have. As you can see, I was talking about the texture and the color. So it's like a blend of almost, we have red, we have yellow, we have green. So the food, I believe, what can you say, Linda? This is our food.
I can only say
this is a
something
platter
after
for
I
4.
have tasted. This is enough for like 4, and lunch hour mzuri tu hivi umetulia. This is perfect.
You love some seafood, something you love to try. So this is the best we can offer for you today.
Only at the
Civilian
civilians.
seafood.
Again, where do they find you?
Right, again, I was saying you can find us at Kikau Place, right opposite Quickmart Lavington, along Gitanga Road. That's Valley Arcade.
Yeah.
It was nice to serve you. This is Chef Sam Olunga.
Thank you so much, Chef. And before you know it, I'm about to serve on this. So how about we get to the table?
Please do. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. All right, so, and here we are, my all-time favorite moment. This is food that is supposed to serve like 3 people, but we will be doing it 2 of us. And guess who I'm with? Salimia watu.
Karibuni sana civilians. My name is Gilbert. Welcome to the home of Kenyanized seafood taste. Yeah, this is actually also my favorite moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like eat seafood day in, day out, and you're good.
Me, I was a boozy person, not the person, but the day I discovered seafood, let's see.
All right, so let's see, here we are. I started by saying we are on a seafood diet, so join us as we also get to enjoy this and know something small about you. So you are the brain behind this.
Yeah. So actually, funny thing is I conceptualized the idea back in 2016.
Okay.
So I used to stay in a Chinese setup home, just here within Nairobi. So I always knew I would supply these guys with mbuzi, ng'ombe, because as we come from those places with plenty of them. So I used to play basketball with them.
Yeah.
And of course, have a chit chat. Nawambia, I can bring you ABCD.
Okay.
Then these guys are like, we'll get us seafood.
Yeah.
Then you have us on board.
Oh.
So
kama mchezo tu.
Kama mchezo tu.
Yeah.
So mimi nikaenda nikatafuta mbuzi huko. Hawa akaniambia bana tuletee seafood.
Okay.
So I went, checked seafood in this city market, and I was so grossed up with the looks and stuff.
Yeah, it can be, yeah.
Yeah, so that time I jumped to the ship of employment.
Okay.
Because I just cleared school. And then, you know, employment at times, Kuvuta, left, right. So I always knew I had something to do. So the day I just came up with the name Civilians, I knew it was time to jump ship.
Into it.
Yeah.
All right,
so I jumped the ship. We guys actually were not a restaurant before. We started off as a fresh seafood restaurant, as a fresh seafood delivery shop.
All right.
So we used to have, I was targeting the Asians. To my surprise, the locals loved
it. So that's why you call it Kenyanized.
It's Kenyanized seafood taste.
Yeah.
So I was surprised when locals were ordering from us.
Yeah.
They just come check wanapata live crabs, wanapata octopus, wanapata those stuff. Most Kenyans who are traveled and at least some clients.
Yeah.
So to my surprise, 70-80% of our clients were locals.
Okay.
But wakatuambia hii mnatuzia seafood, si tupikie.
Oh, nice.
So from fresh, we used to have a very small shop. Like this one is like 3 times what we used to have back in 53 Park on near Adlife Plaza. So fast forward, I scouted for someone who could do the job.
Okay.
Thank God, I found Sam.
Man, he's doing an incredible job.
After when I found Sam, everything changed.
Yeah.
That's where we got the Kenyanized seafood taste. Yeah, because that's what we were looking for. Ever since from then, we had a very small space. Our clients were like, you know, guys used to think we were a very big restaurant, so they come, they find like those 2 seats we have just found here.
Yes.
So they were like, get us space. So our growth is as a result of referrals and customer
people appreciating
feedback.
what you do.
Customer feedback.
Incredible.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Octopus.
That's octopus for you.
I was
I'm
running
actually
away
waiting
from
to look at your face.
First of all, before you bite, how many chew? This is my first time. I've been running away from meat. Isn't it lovely? Isn't it tasty? I can feel the chumvi, I can feel the ndimu that someone's talking about.
Yeah.
I can feel the fish taste. Nice. Perfect. I love it. Oh, perfect. Now we get to this other one. Remember, it's a platter for
So
three.
this is octopus.
Oh, that is nice.
This is a red snapper.
Yeah.
This is a mixture of calamari and prawns.
Oh.
So all this come in a platter with our tamarind sauce, and this is our mango-based salad.
This is nice.
Yeah, so
This
everything
is
in one
to
platter.
die for. This is lovely. Then the calamari. If you've not done seafood, this is a place to be. Really.
Yeah.
Where are you located? Wakumbushe tu. Or you
so,
could do online deliveries.
Our platforms are actually, we are so much active on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I can say Instagram is our most active platform.
Yeah.
Because the page we have right now is like our second page. We used to have a bigger page, which came down, was hacked, I think, because of malice. So we are on Instagram as Civilian Seafood, TikTok as well as Civilian Seafood, Twitter as Civilian Seafood.
Wow.
So guys can find us online at Civilian Seafood. And we are on Valley Arcade.
Yeah.
The place is called Cow Place. It's along Gitanga Road, opposite Quickmart Lavington.
Why don't you check them out? Perhaps this should be dinner for you this evening. Or think of a weekend and treat your friends to this. This is incredibly nice.
All day, any day. So what I normally get, because 90% of our clients are fast eaters. So I always look at their faces, because there's a myth about seafood that we are trying to demystify. That is just a perception, especially these people who have gone to the coast. They have this perception of like seafood, samaki. But seafood it's the only food.
It is
I can say it is the
when
only
at this
food.
rate, it is the only food.
Alafu seafood hainoneshi.
Health benefits 100%.
Yeah, it's very healthy, sustainable. Like we always support those people from the coast, and it's white meat.
It is white meat.
Yeah.
Best alternative to nyama ya kawaida.
Best
Nyama choma, like you rightfully put it.
Yes,
But
yes.
this is the best alternative. We're not telling you wachana nyama choma yako,
Yeah.
but we're saying this is like nyama choma for a daily.
Do seafood once a week.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing.
You do not know what you're missing. Please
Yeah.
check them out. Once again, the Civilian place. This is a place for seafoods. I have loved every bit of it. I just can't wait to serve. And the only way I do that with a bit of discipline is eat while I am silent, not talking. So how about I get to see you some other time? Thank you so much for welcoming us.
Karibu.
Let's get to enjoy.
Karibu sana. One last one. We also do deliveries, and we are across all these platforms.